Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. That's right, folks. We are live and back at it again. This is what we do. We are the Wrasslin for Life Network, and we are here on a Thursday night for our weekly podcast. Looking a little different, got a little special feel tonight, but we are the Let's Rumble podcast every week here on the Wrasslin for Life Network. This week, we are going to get into the Royal Rumble. We want to start early. Tonight will be dedicated to all the people that might just surprise us and show up at the Rumble. But we got big news popping off that we got to talk about. We can't ignore what's going on out there. The Wall Street Journal making waves again. Vince is up to no good. Sasha's got some news, but we got a lot of names to get through of potential Royal Rumble participants. Do not go anywhere. Strap in, strap on, strap in, strap on, strap on, strap in. Either way, we're going to have a lot of fun, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live. We are live. We are live. And we are ready to go on a wonderful Thursday night. Folks, you put Friday Junior in the books. It's done. We are on the cusp of the weekend. And going into the weekend, lots of wrestling to talk about. And of course, this month, January, always synonymous with the Royal Rumble. So we thought we would jump on, make this a special edition of our Rumble, and talk about a lot of the names that have been rumored to be participating in the Royal Rumble. We will run through that list here today. Once again, I hope everyone out there is having a wonderful, wonderful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. But I will remind everybody, I am KJ White, Mr. Every Night, the Iron Man of YouTube. Happy to be back with you. And of course, my,
Why? I'll just tell you over. Why?
The Stepford partner.
What? Pause. Pause all the way on that.
Well, you were glitching. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah. It's like I said, you just let me take over. You started, and I just run the ball through the fucking goal line here. But no, 100% of this to me is the best Royal Rumble of. You don't know at all who's going to win. We could see surprise entrants we would have never even thought of. People that aren't even on this list that we're talking about could still show up, or somebody, that is on here that, or is still on the roster and could turn around and win it.
Now, it's funny because things have changed so fast. There's a couple names on this list I don't think many people would have thought of. But beyond that, there's a couple things that we will get into as we go through the list of, particular people of like, well, they were on the roster. Now they're in the alums. Things change quick. Shit. So, folks, this is Let's Rumble, like I mentioned. This is our Rumble, one of our Rumble specials. We will be back for a prediction show and lots of good chat about that as well. Folks in our chat blowing us up, keep it coming, keep it exciting. We will click on as many of those as possible. If you really want to get our attention, don't forget super chat, super stickers are there at your disposal. Get known, get seen, get noticed. But Dale, Rhea,
tell us how wrong we are about who we think is going to show up in the Rumble and everything like that, or who we missed on who we think is going to show up.
If you think we're crazy, if you think we missed somebody, whatever, whether you're watching this live, let us know in the chat. If you're watching it after the fact, comment down below. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what's on your mind. But without further ado, because I know everyone's itching to talk about some breaking news, so I thought we would do surprise entrant number one to kind of lead into.
Well, he could be an entrant. He very much could be an entrant. Let's not put that out of the question here.
Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the countdown hits, and this is what we get.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoa, could you imagine, Mr. Nick?
You've got no chance.
Yeah. We had to ad-lib the music just because, rules are the rules. But
right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, there's been the whole talk from the Wall Street Journal, and I feel like this is now a bit of rinse repeat when it comes to Vince, of the whole talk about, oh, he's planning to come back, or he's going to come back, and he's already named executives that he wants, on the board with him and everything, because he's still the majority shareholder, and always planning to sell. Of it's at this point, it's getting a little rinse repeat. It's a little okay, Grandpa, you go home now.
Listen, it does. I said this before I came on and we were chatting, and I hate saying this word on YouTube because it could censor us. However, it's so Trumpish. It is such a Trump feel of like, I know I'm done. I know I'm defeated. I know the world's against me, but I'm not going to give up. And if you won't play with me, I will change the rules. I will pout until I get my way, and I don't care who I crush in the process. And that's what it feels like.
Well, a little bit like what we were talking about before and everything is that Vince McMahon has FU money. Very few people, if any, ever get FU money. And he lives in an entire different world than we do and everything. Example, he has the allegations. He comes out, does his little, we're all in this together. No, Vince, this is on you. This ain't on me. I'm paying no legal fees. And then is reported backstage of saying F him and all of that. So 100% of he lives just on fucking Jupiter at this point.
Yeah, in no sense. Right. And it's just what like he said, he felt like he got bad advice in that. I mean, I wonder if tomorrow do we wake up to more allegations against Vince just to keep him a little bit distant?
That is funny because the last time this happened, there was literally quickly preceded by more allegations.
Right. And that's what happened last time. So, and again, we all knew Vince had shares. We all knew he had the stroke, so to speak. Pause. But we did know with his those type C or B, I don't fucking know. I don't have money. Shares that, he has controlling rights of the company. So he's just going to vote himself back in with two of his friends. Now,
see, and that's funny because I've seen the outlying theory of, well, that would require X amount of people on the board to release to relinquish their seat. What if it's all about the game and how you play it and staff and Nick Khan? But then again, he's come out and said, well, if I don't get my way, I'm not selling. Cool. Well, I don't think Hunter and Seth want to sell the company. So you have nothing to threaten me with, old man.
Well, here's the thing, though. It had been rumored, Nick, that for a long time that was always the plan of the board. Like, part of Nick Khan's role was to make enough value for this company that he could sell it. And I don't know if that plan had overall changed, but if Vince positions himself now the way he's going to, is it just, you won't let me play anymore, so I'm going to sell the sandbox?
It could be that, which I will take a quick second. Shout out, Kobe Winston from.
Yes. There's another gentleman I wanted to touch on. Hey, $3. I like it. Super sticker. I appreciate that, Cheap Pop. Our buddy Cheap Pop from obviously our fantasy faction league. We have a lot of fun with Cheap Pop and all the boys over there. And girls. I would list them all off, but I'd probably miss one or two. So
I was going to say we got one right there with Dirty Heels and everything.
There you go. Dirty Heels is in the house as well. Big shout out to the fantasy faction. A fair and fun place to play, and anybody that doesn't agree with that can go fuck their top hat. That's my side note for the day.
Fair enough. I wanted to, but it just
it's it.
One swing.
Big shout out. I love Cheap Pop.
Vince does have every right to do whatever he wants in WWE. He earned it, but after all, he built it. Well, no, he capitalized on what Daddy built and just commercialized professional wrestling. Let's keep that in mind. However, just because he can doesn't mean he should. He needs to go off and enjoy his hard work. Facts, 100%.
Well, it's like saying a fucking somebody builds a fucking condo, and then guts it from the middle out, and people are living like shit, and there's no heat, and there's no, just a real slumlord. I mean, there's rules. You can't just tear your shit up from inside out because you built it. Like, I mean,
yeah, but Vince is one of those people that feels he lives outside the rules.
Oh, absolutely, and he has. The NDAs prove that he has. If you can, and we've seen it again and again with a lot of high-powered execs, where if you have enough money, you can skate through life. You can fucking glide. It might not buy happiness. It definitely buys you fucking.
It definitely buys you the easy pass.
It definitely buys you a fucking, go straight to go, collect $200 every fucking time. So yeah, Nick. I mean, once you have these allegations, and now there's still talks that some of these allegations are more than just NDAs. They're coercion. They're they were forceful. There were women that felt like they had no other choice. Now, where this guy goes, oh, I'm going to come back. Yo, your stocks just went down $12 because they think you're going to sell, not because they think you're coming back. Once he walks back in the doors, does that stock go down the complete opposite direction?
Well, I don't know, because even like Dale was saying here, and you mentioned it about how Nick Khan's been listening to offers and everything. I think everybody presumes that it's going to be selling to, it's going to be selling to good old Mickey there. Going to put some mouse, like I think it was
it's so funny
that said in our fantasy faction channel, put some mouse ears on WrestleMania, and
right?
There you go.
Listen, it kills me every time the Disney conversation has come up over the last 2 years, and I mean, we really thought with all the budget cuts and expanding and bragging about being $1 billion company, that was just the WWE flexing to potential suitors that all right, you're going to give us a lot to get this because look how much it's worth. Meanwhile, cupboards were bare, mind you. However, ever since this came up, the jokes of like Mickey on Ice and like fucking, listen, if nothing else, Disney knows how to tell a story. They know how to make a bad guy and a good guy. And let's see it. It can't be any worse than Vince running the fucking company.
Well,
it could be. It could be.
It could be a lot worse. For me, my whole thing of reading the statement and everything that I've seen, at least from Wrestle Talk, so do with that what you will, of that it seems more like Vince is more wanting just control over Disney ruined Star Wars. Disney ruined a lot of things.
I don't know why that caught me so funny, but it made me laugh.
It's still funny to me of how Disney now owns The Simpsons, and The Simpsons have a joke about Disney in their own movie of saying, I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
It's true.
But it seems like Vince is more angling it towards, having control over their own product, their own content that they put out. So what if, rather than quote unquote sell, they more go into the buying market of, they have to deal with A&E, they have to deal with USA. Maybe what if they start trying to purchase some of these networks, and now we just have the WWE Network spread out even further.
No, it's true. And I mean, it's a possibility. I think that's what's been the crazy thing about wrestling over the last 2 years is you see all the dirt sheets. You see all the fans, marks like us that run around. Oh my God, did you hear this? Did you hear that? And you really got to weed through all the bullshit. And there's a lot of people that knee-jerk report of things just mean something, right? Today alone, I had 2 reports back to back. The first one said, AEW locker room excited for Sasha Banks, Mercedes Verano, whatever. The next fucking post was, WWE believes Sasha is on her way back. Wait.
See, I can do you one better, because I've seen Sasha Banks is signed with AEW, followed by Sasha Banks is absolutely not signed with AEW.
Meltzer's report, someone else's.
Right, exactly. It's this source, that source. All right, so who do you take more credible?
Robert's point here about Vince coming back does benefit AEW if Vince, and I think he put in the letter, I don't want to touch anything, I just want to be there. And you're like, hold up, do you really?
I ain't got shit to do at home. Linda loves my ass. My girlfriend won't answer my phone.
My wife's mad at me. My girlfriend's mad at me. My mistress is gone. I got like, fuck. Poor guy. Something that
What?
You paused for a second there, Bo.
I'm good. Something that he swore to his dad he would never do. Oh, about
True.
buying all the territories and everything like that. Yes. That just shows you how much of a slimy fuck he is.
Yo, he didn't just. And sometimes when you retell that story of like Vince went around and bought some territories, no, Vince strong armed the fuck out of people. You
Vince was fucking Tony Soprano of professional wrestling.
Oh yeah, you talk about ruthless aggression, Nick. He's the OG of
ruthless aggression.
Oh yeah, well just fucking take your time slot on Saturdays. We'll figure this out. Like, just.
I'll buy all your top guys and we'll make them fucking jobbers.
So there's two other little side theories here, part of this story, and I mean, we could literally spend the next 2 hours talking about Vince McMahon. He's highly entertaining, and I don't mean in the best of ways, but legitimately
highly controversial.
Well, definitely controversial. Now, what if it is just a case of the ball starts rolling as far as, Nick Khan has been talking to potential suitors to purchase, the rights, and Vince says, "Whoa, wait, you can't do that without me," and that's where maybe his focus really is just the fact of all I care about is how the rights deal is handled,
the transition.
Yeah.
See, this is when I guess I turn into fucking Princess Leia over here. I'm over here like, help me, Paul and Steph. You're my only hope.
Yeah.
I still don't want to ever see WWE in like Disney's hands or anything. And that might just be the old school type of wrestling fan to me or whatever. But I would rather see it in a delusional old fuck's hands.
No, I don't know.
Still knows and somehow, somewhere deep in that black heart of his cares about professional wrestling, be in charge of it, than the sinister mouse.
I don't know. I'm torn, Nick, because listen, Vince McMahon successfully is one of the reasons I'm a diehard lifelong wrestling fan, and also one of the reasons why I quit fucking watching wrestling. Like, I gave up on it like so many people did, of like, I can't keep watching the WWE. I can't keep watching you guys fuck up shows and fuck up pay-per-views and just inundate me with commercials and entrances and no wrestling. 9 to 12 minutes of wrestling on a 3-hour show? Fuck you. That's rude.
Well, when you're senile and forget the shit, that has to be said.
Constant replays. Constantly. Let's watch this again. Oh, fuck.
Right, because he forgot it the first time. But so, do we want to, I guess, potentially the next possible entrant / the apple may not fall so far from the tree and everything?
Yeah, I mean, by all means, we could go into
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's funny as hell. Yes,
he's a possibility, and I know who was it? Small Mark here talking about Shane McMahon has to be sour. Triple H swooped in and stole his company inheritance, all at a Vegas wedding chapel.
That's what I'm telling you. So what I was going to say earlier with Vince, and it bleeds into this nicely, is that you turn this into a fucking episode of Empire, where it's just the McMahons have turned on each other. Shane comes back because he's sick of his bratty sister and her big-nosed husband, and he's not taking it. And, they pushed his father out, but his father has rights, and now they're coming back. And then there's an uprising, and then Vince brings back Ryback, and Triple H brings back more NXT guys, and there's a war, and let's go.
How Attitude Era WWE's would it be?
Just
if there wasn't like 18,000 segments of McMahon's involved and it's really all about them and their constant drama. I think you even kind of threw out the idea of it being like a civil war if we've got Captain America and Iron Man going at it.
Right? Like, imagine, and I know we put Vince on the list first to be a little facetious. Obviously, even if he does return, he's not going to be in the Rumble, folks. That would be amazing, though. He comes out number 1 and just stands in the middle of the ring and goes.
But see, I could see Shane a little bit more because remember, Shane booked himself to almost to be in the
Shane
final
wanted to
four.
win the damn thing, so Yeah, no, I think Shane, a lot of people rumored as a possibility. Now, there's been a few times we've thought about Shane coming back, but from what we understood, the relationship was tumultuous. He kind of got fired, sort of, maybe. I don't know. It was a really
That
weird
is the Vince
move from
McMahon
McMahon.
thing to fire your own son, though.
That is shocking. It's a rare occasion. Like, you got to be a pretty big.
No, that is a thank you, fuck you, bye.
Right? That's like, how do you get fired on your day off?
How do you get fired on your day off? Christ. Like father, like son.
Right?
Because Vince got fired on his day off, too.
Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I like the idea of Shane coming back at Rumble is just he will get a gigantic. The minute you hear the cha-ching and here comes the money, the place comes unglued. And that's why I always said that would be Tony Khan's biggest play ever. If he could get that music to play in an AEW venue, be fucking beautiful.
Now, I will say this, and I'll answer DeMarcus's comment real quick here. Vince McMahon is the biggest heel in WWE history. That's not debatable at this point. But shout out to Marcus, Steven, Rhea, Dale, JV, Lauren, everybody, Small Mark.
Spoken.
But I could see Shane being in the Royal Rumble. Honestly. Yeah, does he win it? Or I could see him having more of that like Santino spot of like, here comes the money over the top rope. And before even that song stops, here comes the money.
It's possible, right? Like,
just thank you, bye. Just get the hell out of my ring. You wanted to play Final Four with who was it? Like Brock and fucking like all these big, top talent. So fuck off, bud.
Right. But I mean, dude, I really think there's a I mean, it still would be like, again, fantasy mark bullshit. I get it. But if Vince was to walk out and say, hi, everybody, I'm back. I told you forever. And literally like, okay, I'm taking over. I'm in charge. And then Triple H and Steph come out and you're not in charge. I'm in charge. And yeah, I mean, we haven't had anything that interesting in a while.
The only thing that would make that work is if you're going to do that, because now we've had the whole idea of certain people being number one and number two and going the distance, would be if you're going to have Vince come out number one, is then the number two. Oh, hell yeah. And just stunner and throws his old ass over the top rope. And even if Steve eliminates himself, if he climbs over because he's just going to keep whooping Vince's ass and everything, fine, you can have that. But if that's, say, truly the McMahon send-off, and that's how those two ride off into the sunset, fine.
And you know what? Something just I just had a light bulb moment and became very apparent to me. It may be the only moment ever that Ryback would get a pop, in the sense that if Vince McMahon was the only man in the ring and then he came walking out, it just on the sheer fact of like, we would all scream at the TV together of like, run, Vince, you're dead. He's dead.
No, that would be the biggest Boo Earns moment of, I was saying Boo Earns, like, but my favorite part was just booing at that point of, who do you cheer for, Vince or Ryback? That's a fucking,
No, everybody would start screaming because he would be sprinting. But my favorite part would be Ryback slides in the ring and Vince just kicks him in the nuts and we move on.
I don't need to know about your fantasies, sir, of just Vince McMahon kicking.
As long as Ryback's losing, it's a good dream. But back to the man of the moment, Shane McMahon. Yes, apparently he tried to write himself into, again, it would be a huge surprise. It would be out of left field.
He did.
Well, yeah, right? Fuck. What's up, John? How you doing? But yeah, I mean,
that's the first time I've ever seen that as a nickname.
What's that?
BN. This is a complete side tangent, but it reminds me of the episode of Hank Hill or of King of the Hill, to where Cotton's like, I named him GH for Good Hank. Well, he didn't burn my steak, BH.
What, Bobby? Yeah, BN. Oh, Big Nick. All right.
See, point ahead, looks smart.
Talking about? I didn't even know where you got it from. Paul, Shane, Steph, and Vince. Yeah, let them fight it out. Let's go.
What about Linda? What about Zombie Linda? Does Zombie Linda rise from that folding chair in the corner and win the Women's Royal Rumble?
Linda's busy trying to be the next Hillary Clinton.
No, she's not. Might be similar political idea, just different party.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Oh,
Oh,
God
all
damn
right,
it.
you go.
Do you think Taker could make an appearance at the Royal Rumble? Appearance, yes. Be involved in the Rumble, no.
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 How do you feel? Just quickly, how do you feel about the idea that I want Taker to have one more match in front of a big crowd,
Versus?
not ever wrestling again?
No, I'm saying versus like the opponent.
I don't know.
You can't throw that out there and not have an opponent ideally lined up for that, because that's the thing.
Well,
is, all
truthfully,
respect to Taker, and trust me, that man got me into professional wrestling 100% all the way back to where he was paying the Undertaker and everything.
He was
and you
legit.
had the two Takers. You could tell just by gray or purple.
The two Takers.
But you would have to, at this point, have somebody that could get him through a match like that. The only now rough idea here. How we had originally Taker got retired by Roman at 33, Mania 33. What if Roman really sends the dead man completely out?
It's interesting. And I mean, part of me, again, you're going to laugh because of who it is, but I honestly felt like this might be an opportunity to give Bray the W he deserved. Give him the creepy. That's
not a bad show.
Give him the creepy rub that he deserved all those years ago.
My Uncle Howdy, pause.
You had a good point, KJ, and you had to keep going.
Right. Well, I still think, though, at this point, because you've already had the retirement of anything beyond that, it feels tarnished a bit. It's a bit like how Angle's already had a retirement match, and I've seen people throw out the idea of, well, what if he has another match with AJ? It's like, all right, well, how many times do you retire too much and you end up like Ric Flair or Cactus or Mick Foley or Terry Funk?
Or fucking Jared Briscoe. The list goes on. Wrestlers don't really retire, but it's now acknowledging, okay, now you're a legend or you're a semi-participant. You got to acknowledge when that changes, right?
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of wrestlers that I just named that have retired and everything, do we want to talk about another, I guess, potential participant for the Royal Rumble?
I think I know where you're going. So yeah, I'll go ahead because
you get the thing and I'll get that thing.
Oh, yep.
I'm waiting on you.
I'm waiting on you. I don't know.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo! All right, he's only on the list because they keep reporting that he's going to be in the building, and if anybody's going to come on, Hunter, let me take one bump, they're like, all right, fine.
Remember who you are, Simba. No, just no.
Yo, you could have.
I don't need a wee woo. Listen, I've already had, I don't need that moment in the Royal Rumble of the man just was having his own send-off match and passed out twice. We don't need Ric Flair in the Royal Rumble. Would Ric going off to let him know he's got to come out is just going to can cause issues as it is.
Yeah, would a Ric Flair Triple H match at this point be like one of the most tense matches in history?
No, because they both are retired.
Well, that's the point.
It would be literally chop. Okay, spine buster. All right, drop knee. Break it down.
Some people
sorry.
Xbox. The only thing I think about Xbox, we saw him make a mini comeback with GCW early in 2022, and I'm pretty sure he got in the ring, and then when he left the ring, everything was broken and hurt and sore.
They've thrown out the idea though of him being in NXT.
Fair enough. That'd be interesting. I mean, the guy can talk when he's
Oh, all you got to do is hit a Bronco Buster and an X Factor.
That's true.
I say that like I've done that so many times.
Right, just do that. Yeah.
Right, just do the moves.
Dom versus Taker, Little Mousy versus. Get out of here, folks.
In a fucking casket match, a buried alive match, and in a all to the hell no match.
Well, it'd be like a fucking a prison match at this point.
I'm gonna show you where the tombstone goes, boy.
How can he return to a place he never left? That's a good question about Vince, but return to his chair, so to speak.
Oh no, he done left that bitch.
Well, he never really left.
that giant T-Rex skull that he's got on the side of the wall that we saw during the Money in the Bank match and everything's got plenty of fucking cobwebs on it and everything.
Mm-hmm. John, I completely agree. Isn't it, Nick? A great
wee-woo.
Yes. I told Nick before, I'm like, Rick's on the list just so I can hear you go wee woo.
Wee woo, wee woo. I'm a dance monkey dance.
Thank you, John. Set that up nicely. But yeah, folks, do we really think Ric Flair is going to be in the Rumble? No. The reports are he's going to be present at the Rumble. Part of me thought it would be, I thought Charlotte was going to come back earlier, so I thought maybe he'd be present at the Rumble as she beat his record, technically. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So yeah, Ric Flair definitely not likely to be in the Rumble. If he is, it's a short spot at best.
I wouldn't chance that at all, honestly.
That's it. Listen, JV, we sat through that this summer, and there was moments where we were like, "Is he breathing? Is he breathing?" And he's like, "I don't know." That was the best part.
Yeah, that's where the whole wee woo started. Of the last woo Ric Flair was going to be hearing was the wee woo from the fucking ambulance.
You know what, Cheap Pop? That is a great miss on this list. Mr. Booker T did not make our top 20.
Oh, shucky ducky quack quack, and he starts undoing the fucking suit from the commentary table.
Right? Just the music hits and he's exactly, just does the stand up.
And you dig it, sucker.
Right? Hits a couple axe kicks and a couple spinneroonies. Life's good, and he's out.
Yeah, all you gotta do is hit a spinneroonie.
But the reason, Booker T, Ric Flair, Shane, I guess conceptually could win the Rumble. That'd be fucking nuts.
No.
But I don't like too many spots in the Rumble being taken up by guys like we saw it last year with the Women's Rumble, especially where Summer Rae and this one and that one, and you're like, none of these. There's like 6 women that might win this 30-person Rumble.
That's the thing is at times when you rely too much on legends, that's even gone on a whole thing with WWE booking as a whole. If you rely too much on legends, you're not building up any current stars. Right. But I do like this idea real quick from Steven of, I think we might have missed this one too, of Pat McAfee in the Royal Rumble.
That's not a miss. I think Pat's just a little lower on the hope chart. I mean, then again, we do have some names here that they're like, they made the list, but it is what it is. Right. Pat's a good shout. I'm looking forward to Pat returning. I really am. And one of my favorite moments of last year was, the whole bum ass Corbin. That should have made our award show as the nominee. But that
might be the new award is just the bum ass Corbin award, huh?
Man, that's
just the most bum ass wrestler of the year. The bum ass moment, why?
His whole entrance into that match with the choir, and it was, dude, he's good. He really is.
Emanation Army.
It was so beautiful. So beautiful.
Right. But anyways.
Back to Ric Flair. Big shout out to Rick. The man is a legend. Love him or hate him. You should love him, though. He is definitely on the Rushmore. And other than that, are you ready for another possible entrant into the Royal Rumble?
Absolutely.
All right, let me drop that. And I should have been more prepared. How about, we were already talking about it, so we'll go this direction for now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There you go.
You gotta believe.
You gotta believe. Now, a lot of people have been asking for Bo to come back. This guy. In a lot of ways. So, do I think he's going to be in the Rumble? No, I think he's going to be in the Pitch Black. But, possibly.
That's what I more think it is especially if you've had the whole speculation. I still think if Uncle Howdy is meant to actually be a different wrestler or a different person, all of that, then it's got to be Bo Leave. So I think he'd be more tied up with that than being involved in the Royal Rumble. And you wouldn't want to lose the return pop for him showing up in the Rumble than you would have, say, if he unmasked and he's Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, and I mean, now we're even still debating. I mean, who is Uncle Howdy? Is there multiple masks? Is there multiple people? Is it just Bray in his head? I know we've had this debate for months now, but could Uncle Howdy be in the Rumble, or is he too? He's busy.
Then they got to win.
They got to win.
That's the thing. That's the problem. Like what they did with the Fiend. Of you can't book the Fiend to lose a fucking match. You can't book Supernatural, and then he just gets dumped out on the outside of like, okay, cool. So where's all the spookiness?
Yeah, and I said last year Rumble, where we were hoping for Bray Wyatt to come back, and we hadn't seen him in a while, that if the lights had just gone out and there was about 8 people left in the ring, and when the lights came back on, none of them were in the ring but Bray, and that's how he wins, I would have been totally okay with it.
We need the replay then. We need to see how they were eliminated. Did they go out on the top rope, the bottom rope, the middle rope?
As long as they're all down on the ground, I don't give a shit. Just call it. Just everybody. It. Be such a flat finish.
Huh? Yeah, would it be
now, Bo Dallas has been rumored to be returning for quite a while. Again, I don't think he'll be in. But I mean, people asked about Bray being in the Rumble. Looks like he's going to be busy with LA Knight doing the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Which no one still knows what that is. Even LA Knight, who's in the match doesn't know what that is.
As I said, next week we'll talk about the rules. I was like, wait, what? Has this ever happened before?
Right. We'll talk about the rules right before the match.
Yes, and Smile Mark, I also read that Bray broke his finger. I believe it's fact, but he's going to continue to wrestle. And I believe, as I mentioned to some people recently, the finger's a long way from the heart. Walk it off.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
All right, sir. You can pick one this time.
All right. Well, I was gonna just go over here first pick of if it's Bo Dallas, you got a Bo leave.
Listen, I've been Bo leaving for a while. I like Bo Dallas. I feel like he never lived. I like NXT. Bo Dallas was fucking dope, and everyone forgets that he, what kind of champion he was down in NXT. And I think his return will be great. Them tying it to his brother is going to be interesting if that is the case. And I have visions of Bo, Vincent, Dutch kind of all teaming up on Bray. Bray getting beat by his physical, literal.
What if that's the new Wyatt family, though?
Yeah, welcome. That's it. I like it. It pits it together, and Bray keeps playing this mousy side. But maybe maybe Bray still has one thing in his back pocket that Howdy doesn't, and that's the Fiend. Yeah, right. Let me in. And that's what's fucking with Alexa Bliss. We don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, but we did see the Fiend as part of the whole little what you thought might have been the Wyatt Six initially at Extreme Rules, to where you had all the puppets come to life and everything. So that's the thing, is at the end of the day, it's compelling. It's like the goddamn Will Ferrell line. It's provocative and it gets the people going, but no one knows what it means. That's really what this whole fucking thing is. It's compelling as shit, but no one can make heads or tails of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But I will get into quick. A couple people are mentioning some people we may have missed. I haven't gone through it, but we've got the Boogs. Rick Boog.
I saw a picture of Boogs working out with, who was it? I'm sure you saw it too. He's fucking jacked. Like he's jacked.
It's all that Old Spice.
Yeah, Boogs I don't know what's gonna happen. Harry Smith, not likely.
What about the masterpiece, Chris Masters? There's been talks of that's the thing, is this is the first year I've really seen it of people actively asking, hey, WWE, just put me in the Rumble. I don't care if I don't win. Just let me come out, fucking throw me over the top rope and call it a day.
Absolutely. Not a bad shout. I mean, Chris Masters, though, I mean, it's a funny time where you see Booker T, Masters, certain wrestlers kind of like leaking it out, right? Like, maybe I'll be there.
But I think that's because it's at that point that anybody could show up. That's really what it is. I feel like whether it be the men's, the women's, anybody's really a possibility to show up, and not only a possibility to show up, but to win it as well.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll say, speaking of possibilities and everything, of people who could show up and win it and everything.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, since we've talked a lot about the men's Royal Rumble, I figured it'd be nice to divvy it up and throw on a female in there and everything.
Right.
I think, especially with timing of her career on the line, like career versus title match with Jordynne Grace, just happens to fall about a week or so before Royal Rumble kicks off. So, I mean, she's already worked with WWE under Impact before, and there might be somebody else on the list that, you know, we were thinking about that could also be involved. So
we will get there. Actually,
right.
You know what? Let's just do it now.
Fine.
I mean, we can talk about both all together.
You hitting the video? All right.
I thought you were hitting the video. We didn't plan this. I told you we're unscripted.
This is how we know. You know, we're live. Where is he?
Yeah, we no plan here, folks. We're making this shit up as we go.
I can't find him.
What do you mean you can't find him? It's alphabetical order.
I know that. Anyways, we're talking about Nick Aldis.
All right, never mind. All right, but anyway, Mickie James. We've seen her be, you know, this year has been crazy for Mickie. She's been on a tour. Basically, she loses and she's out. She wins and she wins. She wins. There's been a lot of times where we're like, okay, this is the one that puts her out. She's still kicking around. But I do feel like there's a good amount of names that from Impact Wrestling that have been rumored to be coming back or joining WWE.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been the big proponent of, especially now because Nick Aldis is a free agent from NWA. Mickey's probably about to be a free agent from Impact, that 100% that I could see them both showing up in the Rumble. And especially now, I guess I'll do this nice little tie-in too of Money in the Bank getting announced for the UK of what if Nick Aldis wins Money in the Bank.
Josie. Yeah, no, definitely.
That's not a bad shout, JV, of Cody, FTR, and Aldis.
This has been talked about a lot. And what I thought about this, sorry to interrupt you, Nick.
No, you're good.
That idea is what I think is cool about it is if you start with that, eventually that leads to a Nick Aldis Cody issue. And we know they, you know, what they've done together in the ring. We know what they've done program wise before. So to me, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, 100%. And we'll even, you know, I feel like at this point we've kind of given our statement of, yeah, we think they're going to show up. They honestly probably could both win it. Do we want to get into somebody that we?
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we do not. Just real quick.
Okay.
You're like, hold your horses.
Speaking of horsemen, hold your horses.
Hold your horses. But yes, Nick Aldis is a pro from start to finish. I talked about it before. It's like Nick. We see it with LA Knight. We see it with even a guy like Avery. Like it's just those legit pros that when they walk through the curtain, everything they do is about the business. And where people talk, well, maybe Nick Aldis will go to AEW. It's not the right place for him. It's not the right fit.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Nick I don't know what happened with that one, but anyway.
I threw my hands up.
We made it. I'm using it. No, but anyway. Nick Aldis and Mickie James. Now, it's funny because there are a lot of power couples being talked about. Maybe there's a couple power couples in the list, Nick. Who's up next?
Well, then I guess I'll go to the man that I was thinking about talking about that I know for a fact.
Okay.
I would say is the odds-on favorite to win this.
Oh, you're going there? Okay.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Adrenaline. in my soul. something, Cody Rhodes.
Right? Listen, I said the minute they were like, I didn't believe the purple peck. And then they said, all right, he's gone. The purple peck is real. I'm like, man, I looked right at you, Nick, and I said, this motherfucker going to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
It felt like it. Like, it just seems like it wrote itself. And now we're getting vignettes. Now, the only caveat to this, folks, is it's been reported that he will not be a surprise entrant.
That just means they'll announce it beforehand. It just means he won't be a fucking surprise.
Well,
he's not going to show up and win it.
That's fair. I was just, staying true.
Oh, I know, I get it. Well, and even then, there was even the rumors that he was going to show up at the Raw on, the start of the new year and everything.
A lot of people thought it.
I think that they're going to play fast and loose with this 100%. Well, because we've heard even the talks that.
Is that because Vince is coming back fast and loose?
Pause. But I do also think that we've even heard the talks about, like, if they can't solidify another person who's, down there in the corner beside me there of Dwayne, if they can't just, confirm him, we've got a backup plan that might involve Mr. Runnels.
This is something you've talked about on the channel.
Yeah, I did until Seth got hurt.
Yeah.
But whether I still don't know. That's still up in the air whether that's shoot or kayfabe.
I held fact that was kayfabe to me, and it did not feel like a shoot. I feel like at times now when somebody
I've seen people say that he threw up the X and everything, but I feel like we've gotten to the point to where people know what that means.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't see that. Now, if that's true, then he might be out for a while, right? He's had knee issues before. Of course, AJ Styles just broke his ankle. Not good timing for AJ either.
Well, I've seen that AJ's is a lot less severe than what Seth has added, because from what I've seen, if it is valid, that he threw up the X, and it's the same knee that he's hurt multiple times before. So that might be a much bigger issue than what anyone really wants to admit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of what we're going to deal with. Now, the idea of Cody and Seth being 1-2 is perfect. It writes itself. If they can go a long way in it, they're both workhorses. I see it working out very well. But again, now what happens with Seth's absence? Plus, Seth was fixed in all of this, with the U.S. title and where those stories were going to lead. It's definitely going to change things.
Well, and I did see that whole story of, like, how Steven mentioned about maybe Cody and Seth go 1-2 in the Rumble, and they go the whole distance of, we saw that rumored, whole thing that night one could possibly be Seth either versus Cody or Seth versus Drew, depending on where Dwayne sits at. So I think they had a lot of big plans for Seth, and now this might become, all right, how do we shuffle this deck real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Seth may come and play hurt. Okay.
He's done that before. He did that against Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, he said nothing's been said about Seth. And I didn't see him throw up the X. What I saw was it looked like he hurt himself, but then they worked that leg. They worked that leg for a while. So I thought.
I didn't catch that match fully live, so I thought that was pretty much that, and then we go home, versus we still had a good bit of the match after that.
Yeah, no, there was a good bit, and I mean, like I said, they worked the leg, and that was where I saw, like, the minute they started working the leg after it looked like he hurt himself, I was like, okay, he's fine. And then again, like I said, he rolls out of the ring, and he was like, you're not supposed to just roll out of the ring and jog back to the dressing room after selling a bad leg for 8, 10, 12 minutes. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, I guess so. I'll do a hard transition here a little bit. Speaking of somebody who, since we're talking so much about Seth and everything, because I feel like we've already kind of penciled in Cody to at least be, if not winning it in the final four, of what if somebody else who's been injured quite recently ends up, showing up back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Let's go. You'll get a pop out of me for Randy returning, right? And what I think is just the countdown ends, no music or anything happens, and he just hops the guardrail and pops a few RKOs out of nowhere.
You at least get one, and that's the thing, though. But I'm cautious with this because I've seen reports saying that the back injury that he had was more severe than people thought.
Yeah.
But I still think that, like we've talked about, at times you play into the dirt sheets as much as you can, and so you're going to completely forget about Randy, and then when he all of a sudden pops up, and you see an RKO literally out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's go.
Right.
No, absolutely, let's go. And I mean, Randy's an icon. Randy's a legend. Randy's one of my favorite that has ever done it. The guy is phenomenal. And not many people argue with that anymore. Getting him back would be outstanding. And again, I grew up in a wrestling world where they said, "Oh, this guy will be out for a year. We never know if we'll see him again." Then 8 months later, poof, there he is. So let's not just believe everything we read, and let's not just quickly jump to conclusions.
Well, everybody lost their mind with the John Cena return at the Royal Rumble.
But even Triple H came back from that when he blew his quad,
Right. My friend will meet.
But that's the thing. For the longest time, it was like wrestlers were superhuman because they were always coming back 2 months early or 8 months early from injuries.
Yeah, that's before testing was involved.
Yeah, well, that too, right? Randy come out bald in his old music. Yeah, there you go.
I hear voices in my head.
Even if you get the music and the pop happens and everyone looks to the rampway and he comes out through the back and
absolutely. Yeah, if you just see that, everybody cuts this way and then, oh my God, RKO out of nowhere. Whoa.
Lauren's a Randy mark, so she would be excited and happy for this particular return. I can't say again, the guy's a Hall of Famer, and we get to watch him actively wrestle. It's really cool. I'd love to see him come back. I still wanted Riddle to turn on Randy and confuse everybody.
Well, I think between that and between Cena's, hairline and everything, I think we're starting to realize even the wrestlers that were young to us when we thought, we were older wrestling fans and everything are now like, oh, now they're old. It's like, oh, damn. You're muted.
You know what? No, you definitely, people suck. Listen, y'all are some mean fuckers out there. Maybe not all of y'all, but some of y'all are not very nice to, that poor guy goes out to wrestle and not one mention of his fucking match, but 1,005 memes about this man's bald spot.
You just shave it then. Just go full Stone Cold.
Just commit. It's happening.
Right, exactly. If you're going to do it, just go.
Right. Pick that shit.
Well, speaking of, I guess, committing and everything of how we thought, especially with what we watched on Wednesday, this was already speculated. This was already rumored. This might be a little interesting. And now we might see more of a commitment towards it. So let's talk about this one because this is one I want to talk about.
Oh, I know you do.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's fucking go. Let's do this. Let's fucking go. This is the type of guy I want in this company. Let's do it.
100%. And I've been so on the fence with this. I thought when initially it was leaked on Olivia, what up? Yes, Captain Insano is signed to AEW. But
Bianca.
When
I think did he freeze? Yeah. Oh, holy Nick.
You had the initial leaks, and it was so funny because we were looking at it and everything. Am I good?
You just ran a remix. You're good. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. God damn it. I don't know where we're getting all the Paul White love, apparently.
Right?
Olivia and Bianca here, but, Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Right.
But with Jay White I know we initially saw that leaked about potential entrance and everything. And then it didn't seem quite that believable of, oh, he's still IWGP champion and everything. And he turns around and loses the title to Okada. And then now at New Year's Dash, we're seeing it to where he's challenging Hikuleo to a loser leaves.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
And then guess what happened at day 2 of Wrestle Kingdom on the 21st of January, which just so happens to be a week before, which I think even when we were watching it live is the second week he lost to Okada. We're like, all right, so he's in the Rumble.
Yeah. And it felt like, you know what? We need to transition this belt away. We need someone to take it off Big Bad Jay White and the Bullet Club. Okada's a great guy to do it. We trust in him. We believe in him. And I know you weren't keen on it, but he was a safe bet to take the belt away from Jay White without kind of having a big dip in interest.
Always been a safe bet. That's the issue.
Yes. No, and I mean, he kind of has that, again, Hulk Hogan, right? But for me, Jay White is a stud. He's an absolute star. He's a workhorse. He steps in the ring. He's got intensity. He's another one of those guys, you believe his shit. If you just hand him a microphone and let him walk out in the ring, he will be outstanding. He's a phenomenal heel. I believe he's a much better heel than he is a baby face. His in-ring work, whether it's technical, we saw the match with Okada. It wasn't big, high flying. It's smash mouth. It's in your face. But we've seen him in Impact. He doesn't shy away from going over the top and such. So Jay White, to me, would be a huge coup, a huge pickup, Nick.
Oh, well, and there's been the whole talk, and I was the first one that really kind of jumped on this of he has gone out there and talked about before of how last I knew in 2018, he was talking about how he signed a 7-year contract with New Japan. But now recently, he hasn't really talked about that quite so much, or he's kind of said things on the contrary. So it's going to be very interesting of, say, even if it's at like 17 or something, and all of a sudden, could you imagine if we get this partnership, though, if all of a sudden you hear Bullet Club for life?
Could you imagine?
You had Carl Anderson just show up at Wrestle Kingdom. We covered that here live, which, by the way, we haven't seen. Go and watch that. Trust me, you ain't going to want to miss the Omega Ospreay match. But now that it seems like we're going to have these working partnerships, I guess, until Vince shows up, outside of WWE, I could see somebody like a Jay White, very much of the catalyst of modern pro wrestling, showing up. But then again, my issue with somebody like that showing up is they have to win.
They do, to a point. It depends how it goes, right? Because now you're getting into, you want to build that murderer's row of every match in chunks of your show are going to be phenomenal no matter who you shuffle in and out. Give me the old SmackDown days when it was fucking Edge and Guerrero and Christian and Cena, and you just had all this
Taker, Batista, Mysterio.
But you had all this collection of good fucking matches. You throw in a guy like Chavo, but you knew if you showed up on a Friday night, the wrestling was going to be good. So now if you look at a Nick Aldis, Cody Rhodes comes back, Jay White, some of the other names that are on this list, where no matter what, Yahtzee, roll the dice. You're gonna get Yahtzee. You're gonna shoot out something that You're going to roll something that just makes sense and that works if you do it right. So Jay White can come in and be a winner. It doesn't mean he goes straight to the title. It means you give him something compelling. Maybe he steps in for AJ Styles.
Or what if he steps in for Seth Rollins? Because that's the thing is, I almost imagine if we're penciling our Final Four, our dream Final Four for the Rumble, if you pencil in Cody Rhodes and Jay White as a potential feud going forward, that's a night one WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up and take my money. WrestleMania looks like night one of Jay White versus Cody Rhodes. And night two is Roman versus Dwayne. Absolutely.
Roman versus Dwayne, eh?
So, do you have anything to say before I was going to...
I know what you're going to do.
Somebody else who could very much be penciled into a final four, a final two, winner, a main event, at Mania night slot and everything.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it work, Jill dance. Make it work, strike a pose. I pull up, hop out, then I swerve. Do my two-step, my lick.
That's not at all who I meant to click, but
no, that's good. We got her. That's so funny.
I built up all that hype for Chelsea Green. A fucking giant ass disappointment.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I meant to go one below. But anyways.
All right, we'll do that next.
Yeah, but I think she's very much followed to transition. She's followed the Mandy Rose suit, and she's oh god.
Right. He wins it.
Disco Inferno, good god. But she's gone anti-Mandy Rose, and she's shut down all these extra accounts and everything. And people are starting to think of, oh, well, she's lining up for a WWE return. We've seen it teased with her and her husband as well. If we want to bring him in here, I can play that.
You can click him. We'll get him out of the way.
5,
can add his name
4, 3, 2, 1.
Do we see both? Well, I like how you put it as Zack Ryder, because does he come back as Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder?
Zack Cardona. I think VHS has it.
Zack Cardona.
I think VHS has got it here. I mean, listen, Matt Cardona is one of the best professional wrestlers out there, and people overlook him because we all remember woo 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 woo, and we can't get over woo 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 woo. But since he left, since he left the WWE, he's established himself. In 2021, one of the best moments in all of wrestling was Cardona showing up and winning the GCW championship and almost getting murdered for reals. Actual real heat. And that man continued that heat in Impact. He continued it in NWA. And he continued it in GCW, where he walked into every building and people didn't just dislike him. They wanted him fucking done. Like, they hated this guy. It was pure, genuine, legit, actual, old school, beautiful heat, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing, that's why I question about if he's going to give that up of going back to the WWE system, when this man's just gone full like 80s, 70s heel of just, no, these people literally want to jump the barricade and fuck you up right now, versus, suffer and succotash, son.
Yeah. Oh, shucks.
Shucky ducky, quack, quack.
Steve Chambers being kind of, it's slim and none. I don't think Tessa's ever going to sign with the WWE again. Unfortunately, you can't do what she did and just come back to work.
Yeah, you can't sign with a major company that already. We saw Mandy Rose released because of doing this on her chest. So you can't say the things that Tessa said, allegedly, I guess. And still that's going to fly with, if you're going to sell, especially too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is. I wasn't there, but you can't be shit to other human beings and just keep going about your life. It's just not the way it's supposed to be. So, a lot of reports there are not good, and I don't think other females, from what I gather, again, I'm not in the locker room, unfortunately. I mean, at all, and unfortunately, you don't have. I mean, when nobody seems to want you around, you end up being the common denominator. So I don't think we're going to see it. But Chelsea Green, Cardona, Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona work extremely well together, playing that whole, the prom queen and king dick-headed couple that nobody likes. They do it extremely well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that's why I think, like you talked about, we've seen kind of couples halfway brought into the forefront of, they tried it before with Seth and Becky. We've seen it now with Madcap Moss, who should just be either Moss or Rick Moss, and Emma, who should be Tennille Dashwood. We're starting to, I think we could see that with Nick Aldis and Mickey James, who we talked about. If you do that with Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona, if you do that with Charlotte, and if you manage to get Andrade, if Andrade,
like Charlotte, Andrade,
fired,
the Gargano,
Andrade just needs to go around like that gif of just slapping the shit out of people until he gets fired.
Right? Yeah,
you're against Sammy, so just
he's got to walk in and give us the old speech like "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you."
Thank you. You're cool. Fuck you. You're cool.
That's what Andrade needs to do. I think that's what he's been trying to do, but they're like, you do.
Tony's like, la la la, I can't hear it.
Brian Myers is better in the ring. I'm not saying Brian Myers can't go, and I'm not saying Cardona is like, you're Bret the Hitman Hart. I just mean as far as being a professional wrestler and pulling it all together, he's outstanding. Brian Myers, great in the ring. What?
The total package, not to be like Lex Luger, but yes, the total package of whether be on the mic, the personality, the charisma, the draw, the attraction, the attention. It's Matt Cardona.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I mean, Myers is great. I like what Myers has done, but he's just always got that mid guy feel to him. JK, just kidding. And Nick, wait, what if question, Deanna and Chelsea is the stalker to get Katana, and the other girl Katana. No, I'm not the only one that fucks up the name of that group. We missed Tuesday, Nick. So they have a stalker.
Well, when you have Wrestle Kingdom at 4 a.m.,
yeah, we were
kind of fucks up or 3 a.m. It fucks up scheduling.
Well, I mean, on that
4, 3, 2, 1.
I could see it.
It's been talked about. It seems like there's a bit of an exodus coming from Impact, and you know that in the bad times, Impact benefits, and in the good times, Impact gets kind of screwed. So,
how much does Vince potentially coming back scare people off?
And the conversations are what they are, and I mean, if the conversation with the phone is, yeah, I know I know the reports, but listen, we're still doing our thing. I'm still in charge. He's not allowed to be around employees right now because he has a tendency to stick things in them.
6 feet.
You might want to go more than 6 feet from the genetic jackhammer, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5 foot
ball. What else we got? But yes, Deonna Purrazzo, I love Deonna Purrazzo, and I've actually had the opportunity to talk to her. She's super nice, super down to earth. She is excellent in the ring. 2021, she was dominant. She was one of the best female wrestlers. She had that upper echelon type of year. A lot of people had felt that the WWE had given up on Deonna Purrazzo too soon, and the Virtuoso might have proved them right or wrong. That they shouldn't have given up on her, that she in fact does have something to bring to the table. She held multiple championships for multiple companies, had a multitude of wicked matches. And again, we look at it, Mickey, Chelsea, Deonna, like all the names from the same place. It's interesting.
Well, and that's do we get into talking about when you go to WWE right now as a female competitor, you kind of dumped into the Shark Tank of how many, she's done really great. And this is not a knock on her because she's fantastic. Okay. This is not a knock. But when you go to Impact or you go to AEW or you go to this place or that place, you're very much more the bigger fish in a smaller pond versus when you go to WWE. And we even saw just recently last week on SmackDown to where Charlotte Flair just said, thank you, I'll have that, to Ronda Rousey. That's megastar versus megastar right there, and just saying, thank you, I'll have that. There's very few people right now, especially on the female side of professional wrestling, that can carry that weight.
Yeah. Valid point by Smile Mark here as far as Chelsea and Matt. One would ruin the other. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Touche. It's quite possible. Now, Chelsea, I mean, they did that whole bit about like, where you going? She's like, I'm going home, and rolled her ass out of Impact. What does that
But
mean?
see, I think you could still get. I think it's more of if you get. That's a good question. Of if you get Mickey, do you think more that you think you know you're getting Nick Aldis, or if you get Chelsea, you know you're getting Matt Cardona?
That's a tricky one. I think Nick Aldis is a shoo-in. I really do. I don't see him going anywhere else unless the WWE just isn't interested and he ends up like an MLW.
William Regal's then fucking blind. Just,
right?
Oh.
And we know he's not. And we all know what Nick Aldis brings to the table. And I think the same thing we were talking about with the men of Aldis, Jay White, the list goes on, Cody being involved. And then you have all these names that now matter. I think you do the same thing with the women. If you're trying, especially if you're trying to build up that tag team division, if you tell Deonna and Chelsea, okay, you guys can come in as your best friends because you are really close. Maybe they're the new women's tag champions that bring some validity to that division. And adding in, like, I don't know that she made the list. I don't want to spoil if she did, but like a Dewdrop, right? Like, where's she been? What's happened? What direction are they going to go? Nikki Cross apparently forgot she was a part of a faction because she'd been MIA from hanging around with the folks. Yeah, I mean, Xia Li, like, they're starting to build.
Yeah, Russell Savage went up. But yeah, no, I could see that's not a bad shout of if you're involving like the tag team titles of if you have, say, Kai and Sky versus VXT, I believe they were in Impact. That's a good tag team division there all of a sudden. And maybe you start to get, some certain people to question, some certain decisions and everything, or maybe like how I talked about of, there's only certain people that can be big time draws when it comes right now to the women's division of maybe we get somebody who could make a surprise return.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm a one.
I'm a 1-1.
But do you think that I guess Bam Bam Banks there
Bam Bam Banks
with the fire hair and everything, I had to
I still say it was distracting as shit, maybe because it was 4 or 5 in the morning and my eyes weren't focusing properly, but man, that hair was so distracting under the dome lights.
But could you see her, and I know we've had the talks about she's right now signed, I guess, exclusively to New Japan and Stardom. We've had people try and go back and forth about whether she's going to work with AEW. WWE's moved her to the alumni section. They've also kind of felt the whole thought that, well, we'll just let her go have her fun and everything, and then she'll come back, right? Right. They tried that with Moxley, and they tried that with Danielson, and we see how that worked out. Mm-hmm. But could you see her if we get like how we talked about with like Jay White? We've had Carl Anderson go over to New Japan. Do we get a real forbidden door opened up? We get Sasha involved in the Royal Rumble.
It's not out of the question. That's the funniest thing about this. It's not impossible. And her showing up the Rumble at this point doesn't even necessarily mean she's going to stay. People just understand the value of having that moment. But I truly believe, based on the tweets of her thanking, Sasha Banks, thanking the crew, thanking Triple H and Regal and WWE, was legitimately what happened was she, Triple H came in and she was interested, or both sides were mutually interested in repairing the relationship, bringing everything back together. They talked about it, and Sasha wanted more money than they were willing to give her. They talked about it some more, and they said, thanks, high five. And that was her leaving. I do believe that Tony Khan kind of fucked up by announcing Tony Storm as Soraya's partner. He should have just left it a mystery until it was just going to be equally disappointing.
I saw people even getting upset. I'm like, really? You're going to do that right in front of Sheeta right there? Like, she's right there. Like, she heard you say that, right?
Sheeta tweeted, too. Sheeta tweeted. What the fuck? Sheeta's not happy. So Sheeta, we were seeing a turn on. We might get a heel Sheeta. Holy Sheeta.
Oh, yeah, we had the holy Sheeta. Now we might get the heel Sheeta.
Eva Marie will become a.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
I think people are fully aware the type of heat that Eva Marie has in WWE. So I can't imagine it happening.
Is he heat? Well, that's the thing. It's not even really heat. It's more just it's go away.
Go the fuck home heat. It is the loudest. It is the quietest of quiet. Go home.
Yes, the
we're not going to boo her. Yeah, we're not going to boo her. We're not going to cheer her. We're going to turn our back and look at elsewhere.
Yeah, if we don't acknowledge her, she'll go away. Right.
Bobby says enough with toxic attraction.
No. More GG on my TV.
You said TV, right? Okay, good.
Yes.
It is a family show sometimes. What do you guys think of Rhea Ripley winning the Women's Royal Rumble? I think he thinks it's in.
Check. Yeah. 100%.
I'm not convinced, but she's close. She's got to be close.
Who do you have that wins it besides her? Give me your short list. Give me your. I know we've been through some females here and everything. Give me your final four for the Women's Rumble.
Final four. See, I mean, let's keep in mind, Charlotte Flair was my pick, which, I mean, she circumvented it and did it early. So,
yeah.
Final four, Shayna Baszler. I have a feeling Alexa's going to be in the mix somewhere because she's going through a life crisis, and Dark Alexa will show up. I don't know.
I heard that. You.
Who else are we looking at for the final four of the Women's Rumble? It's a tough one. I think Mickey would be a good shout. And Asuka, bring her back and get her in the mix.
Oh, Mickey.
Oh no! Wait! Time out. Sorry, I excluded the lady. I think Rhea Ripley's in the top four. I just don't.
Yeah, you just said fuck off.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced that she wins yet.
Oh, I think she wins. She's the best thing going with Judgment Day, but I say Mickey, Becky, Bayley, Rhea.
I miss Becky. Bayley's a fucking lost cause. I don't know what the hell we're doing with Becky.
Even until that, I guess.
Not Becky, Bayley. Becky would be in the top five. Good chance that happens. Becky should come down right to the wire. She might even win it. Becky might be my pick, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Fair enough. So then, speaking of picks, I'll let you pick who's the next person we're going to talk about.
Oh, son of a bitch. Let's go a little off the chart. How about this one? This one should be all right to talk about.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll walk alone. The best theme song in WWE.
Right? It's so true. Art imitating life. But I mean, it's been rumored as of recent. That's why he made the list. Is he literally, he's been talking.
Well, yeah. Even if we get Blue Tista coming back and everything, but I know he still had the give me what I want. I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. Match with Hunter and everything. I still think of. He's already been talked about as the one to make the best transition from WWE to Hollywood.
Why is he the best? Can we talk about this for a second? Now that we're going to talk,
go ahead. You can have this. Go ahead.
I'm just curious.
I'll this with you.
What did I miss? Like, what Dave Bautista movie did I miss? Because the biggest one I know, he doesn't have a whole lot of part. Like,
but see, that's the thing is you're going just off of the biggest one, but he's also been in like.
Well, I know he did like the tattoo one, and he did the one with the little girl.
Glass Onion. He's been.
Oh, the Glass Onion's a good one. Okay.
Right. Yeah. What the one with the comedian. Why am I blanking on his name? But that's the thing is to me, he's been in more of a diverse selection of movies. He has no problem playing the fool, the idiot, the comedic thing and everything. And he does it really well versus every time you look at The Rock in a movie, oh, that's The Rock, right? That's The Rock.
Uh-huh.
You look at John Cena and you just think, do.
Listen, sorry. I feel bad for John because John has had some decent like comedic roles in movies, but he's still John fucking Cena. Like it just stuck.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yes, it's John Cena. Well, that's the thing is there's memes even from people who don't watch wrestling, who know about the "You Can't See Me" from John Cena. And John Cena does well, but John Cena, for the most part, has done a lot of really super B movies.
Yeah.
He's done like Man of the Iron Fist.
All right. Okay.
Doomer or whatever, something like that.
Well, I love it. He's like, you know what? You can go on this one. And I'm like,
it's one of those 100% of I feel that he has no problem making a fool of, like, he fully goes into it. Christ, even with Drax from Marvel, which is what everybody knows him from. The guy plays such a goofy fucking character. He's not, I'll walk alone.
Okay, but I mean, like the Rock is the Rock, but I mean, I also give the man like the Rock some credit for doing things like Ballers. I thought he was great in. Anything with him and Kevin Hart is fucking awesome, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It makes me laugh. Those two are fucking ridiculous together, and it looks like such a weird fucking juxtaposition between the two. But it works.
That's my son.
Right? Right? That fucking what is the fucking movie with the unicorns on his shirt?
Jay.
It'll come back to me.
No, that's the name of the movie.
Taxi Driver was a good one, yes. 007, I think that is an overlooked.
Well, and then Christ, you still got Jacoby saying, "I like the Marine and Daddy home too." Miz fan up here to straight to DVD movie.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Miz. He's getting ignored in this whole.
I still watch. Speaking of getting ignored, I still watch The Chaperone with Hunter.
No, I like Hunter and Blade. Going back a little bit, I like Hunter and Blade as the
10 seconds he had before Blade said, "Fuck your shit."
The metal teeth, ponytail wearing.
Right. All he was missing was the fucking pirouette. Maybe that's what we'll do the nights that we don't have, a show pay-per-view or whatever to watch. We'll go through and we'll do a watch along with like shitty or like wrestlers in movies.
Dude, I'm so down to do that because I think I might be biased, but watching us two cut the shit out of a movie.
Mystery Science Theater 3000. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, people throwing popcorn at us. You two, shut the fuck up.
100. See, so there we go. So we're debating. So I guess we're debating.
Right.
My wife might kill me, but so
listen,
give us. We'll try and find a poll here or something like that.
There's a bunch, but I'm telling you right now, one of them for sure is The Longest Yard. We're definitely killing that movie on this.
Should that be the first one? Well, we've got
my God,
the May 19th.
Goldberg
May 19th. We got completely sidetracked, but so we'll take a poll. Leave us your comments on the video after this and everything. What movie you want to see us first review and do a watch along with that involves a professional wrestler?
Fuck. Yeah, that'd be a cool one. Can we do No Holds Bar with Hogan and Zeus?
What you gonna do, brother? Fucking Debo. I'm behind my chain. Debo coming.
Man, when I grew up, where I grew up, it was funny because you see that and then you see this and you're like, wait a minute, what is happening? But the man used to have a Z etched into his head, and then he was.
I was going to say, well, shit. Does Friday count because Zeus?
Absolutely.
Put it as Debo,
right?
Like, oh my God, Ready to Rumble. No, that was WCW's like.
No, it counts.
Shot at wrestling fans that they passed off as a movie.
Yeah, I like Piper. Piper was good.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah, I love that line. Roddy was just good in front of the camera, period. And he was one of my favorite ever. Like, he's one of the best that ever did it. His outside the ring shit got in the way of what I think could have been a better career, but I mean, the guy was
Roddy
awesome.
just didn't ever want to go under. That's really what it came down to. Is you had that whole era of people like Roddy, of even JYD, and there was a couple other people. I feel like I could halfway name a few, but I might be blanking on names. But to guys that just didn't want to ever do a job, didn't want to go under on anybody. So it's like, well, fine, you're still going to be a halfway top guy, but you'll never go beyond here.
And he was uncontrollable. That becomes hard, right? Like you got to be able, you always see Hogan, Cena, Roman, they're company guys, right?
Right.
I'll tell that.
There was one thing Roddy Piper was not. It was a company guy.
Right. So I think we've trailed off into Hollywood talk with Batista here. But yes. And somebody did point out, what's up, Steve? How you doing? Welcome back. Bobby, Jacoby, welcome. And so many names. Polo, Mike, Lauren. But everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us again, as always. Blows my mind. But somebody did have a comment about, I mean, shit. We got to give The Rock some credit.
No, nah. He'll have his moment to shine. I'm about to bring up somebody he also has also been acting, has also very much promoted himself as being a draw for a company and everything. So we'll see, where this could happen and everything.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ding. All right.
So,
my pick to win the Royal Rumble.
Fair enough. I could see it. It all depends on how that whole, that no compete clause, that buyout really works out. Oh, Knuckle. Oh no, that's wrong. That's mean. I'm gonna say some shit that'll get us thrown off YouTube watching that movie, because what Paul White does in that movie is not good.
Right. 28 Shane, 29 Vince, 30 Punk. No.
And hell will officially freeze over, and the devil has taken over.
Right.
That's the all we're missing is one more. That's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse right there.
There is not a bigger chance. Sorry, that moved on me. What happened there? Who made a comment about? There it is. JV. No, you're crazy. It's possible.
No.
CM Puke. Oh, Mark. You don't tell me if fucking Cody Rhodes was on the verge of winning and everybody's just giddy and oh my God. Puck coming out and fucking him over and going that route, it would be fucking epic.
But still, even I feel this could even make it more. If you have Cody and you have Jay White and they're sitting there and they're banging each other, they're smashing each other in the face and everything like that in the center of the ring and everything.
Oh,
here. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Oh, the place is gonna come fucking unglued.
It really would. AJ would be epic for the women. We felt it was highly unlikely, though.
Yeah, I think she's kind of just done with professional wrestling.
Right. CM Punk is going to stay in AEW. Trust me. Listen, I believe that is most likely the case. But
not if you believe Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has said, we'll ensure that CM Punk will never be here again.
Yeah.
We'll clear it off the boogeyman.
It's true. I mean, again, what are they going to do? Have a Rudy moment? They all walk in and put the wrestling trunks on his desk? Like if like
FTR just shows up. Acclaim. That's a Moxley. They're just
right.
We're not performing until CM Punk's allowed back.
Right? They're gonna give him the Rudy treatment. No, and I've been kind of tongue in cheek about this. I do think that if there is an opportunity, if Punk is free of AEW and the animosity and the immaturity between the groups can't be figured out, because let's be real, if I was Punk, I'd be fucking pissed. And I've been saying since the brawl happened that if Tony can't find a way to make money out of this deal, then you're fucked. You need to make money out of this deal. Losing CM Punk is not good for your business. Look at your numbers. Here, I'll give you an example, guys. Here's a YouTube channel. Mondays, we do 1K plus views. People tune in. Fridays, 1K plus. Wednesdays, 300, 400. The odd one when something exciting, MJF, CM Punk, will get 1K, just like all the other nights of the week. But right now, AEW is competing number-wise with NXT. And that shouldn't be the case.
That's been the case. That's always been the case.
It's always been the case, and it makes no sense. You're beating my farm team and been bragging how much better you are than me. I don't get it.
Well, and I'll say this in AEW's defense of initially, you weren't beating the farm team. You were beating, honestly, what should have been the top brand. And
not at the time. The 2-hour show killed them. And it still sucks for that reason. It's fucking awful. They should just go back to 1-hour shows where they just wrestle.
No, I would disagree of saying that Raw needs to go to 2 hours of it doesn't need that.
Yeah. We've been begging for that. I mean,
I think SmackDown ultimately has been the top show, but that becomes because of the tribal chief.
Yeah, I think Jericho publicly saying, I can't imagine Jericho publicly saying, I refuse to have Punk back unless A, it's a work, or B, again, if he thought Punk might come back into the building, he wouldn't say that out loud. Punk would beat the shit out of Chris Jericho.
Oh my God. Here we go. We're going to get celebrity boxing. We're going to get tough man competitions we've got Goldberg versus Chris Jericho's already been signed up. We've already seen Chris Jericho pretend or heard the rumors of him squaring up to Brock Lesnar after the whole Randy situation. So now we're going to get Punk versus Chris Jericho. Of how we've slidden down the list of actual legitimate potential fighters of, now we're going to get Punk versus Jericho. It's just, all right, it's fucking Bart and Lisa. All right, I'm going to stand on this side of the room and I'm going to do this with my arms. And if you get hit, it's not my fault. All right, and I'm going to do this with my arms. And if you get hit, it's not my fault. Chris Jericho isn't working anyone into any sort of fucking angle outside of Tony Khan.
No, really. the only thing that Chris Jericho gives two fucks about is Chris Jericho, and it's that simple. It's the same reason why he goes to a press conference and talks about MJF is worried about being a babyface. The fuck are you saying that out loud for? Why is that conversation being repeated? Help me understand what your plan is with that. Again, it just diminishes other people because he wants to be that top tier guy, and unfortunately for Jericho, to be that top guy, you have to push others down because you don't have what it takes to elevate yourself anymore.
Yeah, it's much like when he was facing Bandito and everything like that, and he's got to, just kind of shimmy himself into place to take the moves and all of that. He's patchworking his whole way through this. He's the Lionel Hutz of this whole situation of, Punk won't be back now, and just adds in quotations and comments.
5, 4, 4.
That was a total glitch. I was moving shit around.
I was like, I didn't do nothing.
On that note.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. So somebody had mentioned Braun Breaker before. Somebody actually said Braun Breaker might win the Royal Rumble.
No.
I think he's 100% going to be in the Royal Rumble. I just don't think he's going to win.
Really? I don't think he'll be in the Rumble. I don't think he'll win. I think we won't see Braun Breaker on main roster television until at most the night after Mania.
Yeah, I don't see him being making his main roster debut at Royal Rumble, but I do see him, and I mean, people are going to say, well, KJ, he was there before, but it's kind of that just oh my God, it's the NXT champion, that great other show we have. I really do think that's going to happen.
That great other show that we have that everyone's like, no, I don't want to watch that.
But I mean, you can't advertise from the standpoint of come watch this shit show that we put on every week.
Well, I get that, but no, it's still one of those of so I also you still have to look at it of whoever's a surprise return is honestly for the most part going to lose. So unless there's somebody in this list or whatever that you outside of maybe Cody that you think is really strongly going to win, they're going to take an L. So it's how many of these people can take getting dumped out, Oh,
I mean,
5 more people that come out after them. Like,
no, Nick, I'm sorry.
Does Braun come out and then Jay White comes out 10 people after him?
Maybe. Well, I don't see why the correlation there. And I mean, getting tossed out in the Royal Rumble doesn't have the connotation of taking a big L in the middle of the ring. Like for Braun Breaker to come up and get in a battle and somehow find his way chucked out.
All right, so if Roman came out in the Royal Rumble and got chucked out, that's not an L?
No, and it never has been. Like, it never been like, oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so. It's a 30-man Rumble where anybody could win. So
but
I
the way that they build people up and everything that's the thing is that I feel like you say if you had somebody like what we were just talking about with CM Punk show up and he gets dumped out, like that's maybe somebody who could survive that. But if it's somebody who's like Braun,
everybody, fucking Shorty G is going to be in the fucking Rumble. He'll survive getting chucked out. I mean, you really don't.
Well, that's
like to me, a Rumble getting chucked out of the Rumble never was like, oh man, he was so over until he got chucked out of the Rumble. To me, it doesn't have that kind of like lasting weight. I mean, unless it's fucking stupid, where CM Punk shows up, you're like, oh my God, Punk's here, and he runs in one side and falls out the other. All right, look, Braun eliminates Goldberg, who's not even on the list because I refuse.
No, just no.
So, yeah, I mean, to me, like somebody coming out and like Cody returns. Like if Cody comes back and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Cody!" and like they're all excited. But what if he got fucked by a Jay White or a Nick Aldis or somebody we don't expect? I'm not like, oh, that.
But so what if Cody gets dumped out by like a madcap? That's not going to piss you off.
What if the fucking the sky lights up right now? Like, I mean,
what if Vince McMahon comes back to WWE? That's what could happen. Is Madcap dumps Cody Rhodes?
Well, I think actually Vince's booking of Cody would tell you otherwise because he not only
fair enough.
Right, he let him dump over poor Seth. I'd be upset.
He starts out at one and just everybody just by the time the next person comes out, he's chucked him out.
Braun eliminates Lesnar. I like it. I like it.
No,
I like it. Though, yeah, and send Brock down to NXT for a week. Fuck everybody's ratings up. But yeah, I mean, like if Cody gets dumped and does not win the Rumble, I'm not going to be sitting there on Monday going, oh man, I was really excited about Cody coming back, but then that big L he took at the Rumble. Nah, I mean, if he came back and lost a straight up 5-minute match, I'd have an issue. But getting chucked out of the Rumble is a crapshoot.
So hear me out here, because this is a thing that could potentially happen. It's very much, I will admit, it's a bit of a reach and everything. But so say, what if we get down to it's the Miz and Cody Rhodes, and the Miz dumps out Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble? Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem like a little bit of a flop to you?
Yeah, but it's not like, I mean, your original, now you're switching the argument slightly, but no, I mean, yeah, should the Miz go over in that moment? No, but I mean, it's going to generate a whole lot of fucking heat, and it's not like, again, it's not like that earth-shaking, like you got dumped out of the Rumble, like no one holds on to it like you got embarrassed or humiliated unless...
Fair enough, I will...
That's where I think my head went.
You're not doing an outright job. You're not just out there in a squash match.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, yeah, we've had times, and I think, there you go. When Bryan got eliminated from the Rumble, that was an L. Punk being eliminated in 2014 was an L, even though he was out the door. But he had to go. But yes, to your point, yeah, I think it's disappointing. But you still showed up the next day and still, like, it didn't kill their heat. Like, right. If Cody shows up on Monday night, everyone's still going to lose their mind, even if he doesn't win the Rumble.
It does damper it, though.
It definitely does. But when you introduce 7 people, some of them aren't going to win.
Well, that's the thing, is that's realistically what could happen with this. And that's why we're doing the whole video, is they could really have like 7-10 people that are all just surprise entrants.
But I want to believe at least the final 10 all have a shot to win this. I want to believe realistically that when I look at the final 10 or even, the top 12, where you're like, any one of these guys could, or women could genuinely win this match, right? When it comes down to like, oh, Nikki Bella's in the final 2. Why the fuck is that happening? That's an L. You're right.
In the final 4.
That's an L. That's an L.
Yeah,
Johnny Ace.
fair enough.
I'm here. I'm also here, Mick. Welcome.
I'm here all the time. Well, that man's more here all the time than I am, but yeah.
We're both here all the time, bro. JD McDonough in the Rumble. Interesting. I don't know. JD's been really quiet. I think part of me feels like they're saving him for NXT Europe.
I feel like if we're going to get more NXT call-ups into the Rumble, it's going to be more on the women's side than in the men's side.
True, and you're going to need that. Indy will probably be in the Rumble. She's not on this list.
Nikita,
Zoe,
Alba, Christ, you could see Isla or
Isla.
You could see Gigi, all that.
Yeah,
Zoe Starks.
Right. All right. We're down to the last few, folks. Let's see who we can talk about next. Here's an interesting one. We talked about her best friend, and the poor girl has been overlooked for quite a while. Where is JV? There you are. But yes, this poor girl's been overlooked for quite a bit. Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, there you go. And a lot of people are already reporting that Naomi is all but done as far as returning. And again, she has a different situation than Sasha. She has more things to consider.
Yeah, she's married to the bloodline. I think that's where you could get that tie-in, honestly.
It's not a bad show.
Well, people have speculated. People have speculated that with Tamina, of all people. But I could see she's, and I hate to put it this way, but she's always good for, like how with Kofi Kingston always has the Kofi spot. Now in the female Rumble, you have the Naomi spot of. I could see her coming back, and she would get a huge reaction. And
I think so.
I wouldn't be mad if in the final 4 she's there.
What if she wins?
Not mad. Go her versus Charlotte. Not mad.
Her versus Charlotte. Not mad. Interesting. I mean, she's going to come back over as fuck. Like, she's going to come over back as a big baby face. The question with Naomi has always been, when you give her the microphone, can she maintain it? Can she find a way to convey herself to the audience in a compelling way that makes you want to continue to watch her? And for me,
put her in the bloodline to cover that up. Not
a bad shout. Pulling her into the bloodline's not a bad shout. More and more, we're seeing a female presence in factions. Like, if you got 3 guys, 1 girl, we saw it with, the House of Black. We've seen it with the Judgment Day. Why not bring Naomi into the mix? Like, it's interesting. Give her the women's title. It's not a bad shout, dude.
Oh, I'm still calling for the day to where, whether it be Solo has the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, the North American title, like we thought he was going to have at one point, of the entire bloodline is still draped in gold. And now, granted, that might involve one member not being there at that point in time, which is going to be a heartbreaking moment. But I think just it's a natural storyline that kind of writes itself. And again, like you said, if she's been overshadowed by the whole Sasha situation, so how does she step out of that?
Yeah, I mean, and your idea of align her with the bloodline, I think, is part of a good way to do that, right? Where she's got to stand on her own. But again, she's athletic. She's talented. If she comes in the ring and just delivers, she might get herself over pretty good in that regard. So we'll see, Nick. I mean, unfortunately, she has been overshadowed by Sasha, but I think Naomi's a better wrestler. So I don't know.
Fair enough. I don't know. I think that debut might have showed that, but that's neither here nor there.
People blaming Sasha. I felt like Kyrie folded like a chair.
Well, that's the thing is, I blame Sasha. I've seen a lot of people also blame Kyrie on that. I think it's a shit move either way.
Yeah.
Even if it was hit successfully, I don't want to see that as a finish if you fuck it up on your debut, because that means you can't hit it consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Kyrie's not exactly one of the bigger women. Like, if you get in a match,
Put that on a fucking Nia Jax.
yeah, or even like, oh fuck, a Rhea Ripley or a Charlotte Flair. Like, how are you gonna do it to a Charlotte Flair when her feet are touching the ground when you strap her to your back?
She won't have to worry about that because she's in New Japan. She's the fucking biggest woman on the roster.
There you go. She came up with a move that was perfect for backpack
Exactly. I can throw these
size
little
women
bitches around.
Steve agrees. Where is KJ and Nick? Find these. It fit everybody. LOL.
Find these themes in the brains.
Yeah, go searching. Go searching. Hopefully it's close.
Follow the white rabbit.
There's a lot of clicking. There's some calluses on the tips of these fingers after a few months of clicking and clicking. I didn't say my palm. I said the tips of my finger. Why do you got to be like that?
Well, here, speaking of pause, I do have to take this a little pause here real quick.
Do it, man. I saw your face turning red. There you go. He's coming. He'll be right back. No, thank you. I want to see Gail Kim make a Royal Rumble cameo. Gail Kim's not a bad shout. I love Gail Kim, and I think Gail Kim is one of the best Impact performers as far as that Knockouts division goes for a long, long time. Gail Kim's excellent, but I don't know. Will we see it? Maybe. I feel like we got Melina. She made a return. It was, you're like, but nothing's sticking. So again, I think the ladies that made this list tonight, a lot of them were, you could potentially see them winning. Naomi could win. Could Chelsea Green win? Maybe, but definitely be involved in the mix we talked about. So there are options, but well, Nick is gone. I'll just move on to the next one and just get talking about it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There you go. KJ, you forgot Taya Valkyrie. I didn't forget Taya. I just don't know that she's on her way back. She's doing well with the Knockouts tag titles. She was they were Knockout tag team of the year. So with the Murder Dolls, I just don't know if Taya's on her way back this soon. Could Taya Valkyrie eventually come back? Shit, we were excited because we thought the new Valkyrie lady was gonna be the Taya's new gimmick. We were wrong. Redbeard, yes. Why not? Redbeard's hanging around. Bray's been around. We talked about Bo Dallas. Why not Redbeard? Redbeard's big. He's imposing. He's been part of factions. He's a veteran at this point. There's a lot of things you could do with Eric Redbeard. I say get him in there. I want to see him. Why not? Some people speculated, would he be a part of this Wyatt 6 that we're never going to get or that we might get? I don't fucking know. But Redbeard, to me, is definitely an option. We saw him aligned with guys like Daniel Bryan, saw him in the Wyatt family. We saw him with Luke Harper. So I'm a big fan of Redbeard. So it was a bit of a sentimental pick on this one. But yeah, no, I think Redbeard being in the Rumble is quite a possibility. Bring back, yeah, that was bad. That is wrong, Steve. Never speak of that again. I embarrassed everybody. There you go, Mr. Redbeard. I don't see Taya coming back to WWE. Yeah, I agree with you, Steve, on the Taya front. Just not yet. Not saying it won't happen, but not yet.
Speaking of embarrassing everybody, but anyways,
what's up?
What up?
Dale agrees that Eric Redbeard could be in the Royal Rumble.
Could be. He would fall victim of that Santino, that Taz spot of in and then quickly out.
You think he goes in and out? I don't think so. I think he comes in and lays a couple people out. We have a big face-to-face with like fucking... That's where you get like one of the other big guys toe-to-toe with him, like Omos.
Him and Braun just square up. That's the only way, because you do still have that pitch black match of what if he's involved in that. That's the thing, is I feel like anyone that's in that Wyatt peripheral you have to take with a grain of salt because they could still end up in the pitch black match.
That's the other thing. Like Bo Dallas, I know he made this list, and it's just kind of like, well, if he's not truly a part of the Bray rivalry,
if he ain't doing anything, if you ain't got nothing to do on a Saturday night,
yeah. If you're not with him, no.
I mean, I'm second best option.
Right. How fast until it's Eric Graybeard? Right.
Don't wish
don't
that
knock
on
it.
a man.
Don't
As
knock
two
it.
men with beards, don't wish that on a man.
What do you mean? It's happening. I can't touch it.
Listen, I don't have that quite fully yet. So
no, it used to be a nice little gray streak, and now it's a great chin.
That's what I'm getting. For those who are watching this in HD, there I guess can see that I've got the little skunk,
the little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. How fast until Eric Graybeard got that one? I don't know. I read it twice. Nia Jax should join the bloodline, reunite the family. Except Nia Jax is a human bulldozer.
My hole.
Yeah, right. Came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. She's too busy making TikToks with Mojo Rawley. So.
I was gonna. Oh, there's a Mojo joke, and no, I do not.
I am Mojo Jojo.
Could Nia Jax? She's not even on this list. No one's even talking about it.
She doesn't want anything to do with professional wrestling anymore.
I don't think so. Why?
No, I know so.
She's tired of beating up and breaking women. Yeah, listen. She
retired my hole.
Strong power. Yeah, no kidding. Pause.
Pause.
She is a strong woman, and when she lands a punch, it leaves a dent. Right, Becky?
Oh, that's a whole missed opportunity.
There, Redbeard and Jonah having a face-off. Let's go.
It would feel so much bigger if Jonah or Bronson Reed wasn't the Miz's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to get away from that. We need to get away from that. You saw Jonah calling out Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm like, yes, let's fucking do this.
Please.
Forget the Miz. Let's do this. I saw
Jeff Cobb calling out Omega too, by the way, which I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please.
Jeff Cobb's a beast. Jeff Cobb's another one. Like, dude, put Jeff Cobb and Jonah in a tag team and let them fucking decimate people.
Right.
Chris, I want it. What? I want that in a 3-way. Let's go back up to Omos. No, that's not the one we want. No, that's not good. Can we take Omos out of it? Omos is not a good part.
I am Groot. Why is I am Groot in the match? We already had Drax. Why do we have I am Groot in the match?
That's the funniest.
I am Omos.
I'll give you a high five on that one, buddy. That fucking caught me.
Am I wrong?
We've called
it's a fucking walking tree. I want to. So I'll say this real quick.
Yeah,
it's a quick transition here. We'll get through some people here.
Yeah,
What?
I thought you were transitioning to something.
I was. I pulled up the comment about talking about Eric Young, and we might get Sandy.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I was not forgetting about Eric Young, folks.
The man just came out on my thunder. He literally set me up for a segue and then just yank.
I was like, what are you doing? Wait, click.
Hey, what are you doing? Okay, bye.
Right. So Eric Young, yes, and somebody mentioned Sanity.
You like this.
I love this. Listen, I think Eric Young will be in the Rumble. And again, I kind of had visions of this for another guy. But I think with Sanity, you have an opportunity where Eric Young is the only part of Sanity that's in the Rumble. However, the rest of Sanity really kind of come in and fuck up the Rumble for a minute. You know that moment where like everyone kind of gets like tossed out and everyone's like, oh my God, Sanity's taking over. And eventually, somebody deals with them and gets them out of the way for a while. They fight off and then Eric goes for a while. Eric is a guy I'd like to see Eric in the final 5 to 7 of the Rumble. I'd like to see him be late. 10, yeah. 10,
I'll
7,
give you 10.
All right, I'll take it. But Eric Young, to me, is a highly, highly talented guy. He is right up there with the likes of a Bray Wyatt, with the likes of a Malachi Black, and just understands the psychology of wrestling. And we've watched him. I feel like I've watched Eric Young grow up, and we're probably about this. He's older than me by a couple of years. But yeah, I feel like I've watched him grow up from like this little guy that was nerdy and with
From
the sweat.
EY,
Yeah, fucking amazing. And
Team
now he's
Canada
this
and
guy.
everything. It's if you can find a way to find something to do with Sanity, including Eric Young and Nikki Cross and whoever else you want to add in.
Killian.
Damo, I could see Damo coming
Yeah.
back. I think Alexander
Put
Wolf
Redbeard
might be a
with him.
reach, just because of Dub X Dub. But I still think if you can at least find something to do with them that isn't their just dingy hit row, or they're just kind of
Dingy hit row.
They're just kind of floating in the nether like they were before. If they're actually involved in a storyline, if you have, that's the thing is, do you have? I feel like if you have the Viking Raiders and you have bring Sanity back and what have you, it gets back to like when you had Sanity and the Bludgeon Brothers on SmackDown at the same time. Of they're both kind of doing similar-ish gimmicks of they're both kind of just tag teams that are heavies, and it becomes a little bit of all right. They become interchangeable. Of there needs to be something that distinguishes them.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think I agree with you on that. And I mean, I don't think Sanity did get a fair shake their first time up on the main roster, and I liked them a lot in NXT. I like what they brought to the table. The idea of seeing kind of how their entrance would play out on the big stage, I thought it was cool. The couple times we did get it, but
the first time you hear that of dun 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 dun, you're gonna get a pop. But I do think, and I'm not trying to take away from Eric Young's career because I know we had this out before. But I think he right now in WWE works better as a agent backstage. And I think his mind, you pair that type of mind, say with a William Regal that's already backstage, of Paul Levesque that's already backstage, of maybe if we can smoke the hopium fully, we get a Samoan Joseph that's backstage and everything as well. That combination that's in charge of a creative of picture if you have Eric Young working on the Bray Wyatt storyline.
Team Canada. That's what it thinks. But yes, no, a guy like, well, see, this is where I was going with it, Nick. I want Eric Young in a storyline with Bray Wyatt. So once we clear up how
Eric Young's Uncle Howdy confirmed 2023.
No, well, I wasn't going there. I want him
grew
to
his hair out. He grew a goatee.
Right.
He put a mask on.
Fuck it. I mean, he's got connections to, Vince and this comment sounds like you guys are trying to. We're not doing shit. They're all leaving.
Listen,
right?
I
Eric,
can't.
they killed him.
I can't. Well, Eric Young's already been written out of Impact.
Yeah, legit died.
We're taking the talent that they've already said. Thank you. I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted to bankrupt them, we're talking about taking out Jordan Grace. We're taking about Josh Alexander. Talking about taking out Moose. There's still a
signed guys.
Mm-hmm. These are guys that they're saying, no, you can do what you want with them. Pause.
Eric Young comes out. We have to get a Bray flicker. Interesting, but I do like the idea.
He's rambling rabbit.
No, but could you imagine like Eric comes in and is like, "You're not really who you say you are. I'm, the fucking creator of violence. I'm this guy," and they just go to Dark War. I'm totally in. Let's go. Big fan of Eric Young
already with Uncle Howdy.
Well, I mean, I kind of want that shit to get out of the way. Like, you need more storyline beyond. We're not going to do the Uncle Howdy thing forever. I assume.
I know, but then it becomes, I feel, a bit like rinse repeat.
Why?
No, well, if Uncle Howdy with revel in what you are, and then now I know what you truly are. I'm the innovator of it's
well, no. Like, so yeah, I mean, once you get past the Howdy stuff, and I'm assuming there's some type of calm to it all, I do believe that where does he go? Like, okay, you assume. I hope he beats LA Knight. It'd be really fucking weird if he didn't. So where does he eventually go? Eric Young would be a great opponent. What? Fight Howdy?
LA Knight getting more over with this whole storyline than Bray Wyatt
Absolutely. By design. Because LA Knight has
I don't think it was by design.
Well, I just think they underestimated, and they knew LA Knight was a star that could carry this through. The problem is LA Knight's doing all the talking. He's doing all the talking.
No, Bray Wyatt's doing a lot of talking. It's just making not a lot of sense.
Bray's doing a whole lot of speaking, but
that's a very good point.
LA Knight is really talking to the crowd.
Right? I like that.
Yeah, and even if they are getting boos, because again, you're not quite sure how to feel about Bray at this point. Of like, we really love that Bray's here and we all love him, but then is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? We don't really fucking know. It's gray.
I'm the
LA Knight's playing the heel.
Duh.
But he's getting cheers now. No, he's talking to the people. Bray's just speaking to the microphone. And I love Bray Wyatt.
That's why I still feel like this is just a personality split, because you get so much of the so weird of just randomly out the blue of cameraman, you bad. And I attack you. But I'm gonna do some very bad things.
And that's where I think you're like, okay, and that's where we were getting impatient. And you allow a guy with the energy that LA Knight brings, he does overshadow if you're not playing ball. Now, I get it. This is how you wrote this or how you brought this angle to be. But the heel is where we said, like, we really need Bray. Like that Jinder Mahal match, put it on TV. Remind us that Bray's a badass. Show us what Bray can do. It's been forever.
What if, and because you've already mentioned this persona and everything before, and we've had the whole Uncle Howdy and come out. I almost called him Unky Howdy.
Unky Howdy.
Unky Howdy. But what if, because we haven't seen Bray actually act like a badass, and he's had those emotional moments to where he's been teared up and everything, and I don't know, I just do what the circle tells me. Of what if during the pitch black match we end it with where everything went pitch black before, and the Fiend shows up, and that's how we end the match, is say a mandible claw from the Fiend on LA Knight, and then now where the fuck do we go? That's the best thing and the worst thing with this whole thing is it's all a bunch of where the fuck do we go from here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things, and it's going to go like everything else, one of two ways. It's either all going to come together nicely and make sense, and we're all going to go, that's really fucking cool. I didn't realize that this was at play. Or it's going to play out, and we're going to be like, wait, what the fuck? That's really the two options. And I really have faith that these people all working together and bringing in dudes from Marvel is all going to come together.
There, Kevin Feige.
Come on.
I still hold steadfast by the fact that they brought that out.
There you go. Yeah. Now here's my and again, we talk about Bray's been off for what, a few years. We haven't seen him on TV in a match in a long, long time. And the first match we're going to see Bray Wyatt in is going to be in the pitch black, I think. We don't know. Flashlights, I guess. I don't know how we're going to play this.
Well, we've already got pitch black sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
they're going to be all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Right. The
going to be a short match, folks.
Yeah, you know what? That's what it actually is. We all think it's about the lights. No, they each got to chug one.
They just got to chug
one and beat the shit out of each other.
Wins. But at least I think it'll at least be better. I think it's going to go back to the cinematic match, and it's their way to do a cinematic match outside of May 19th era, Thunderdome era. We'll call it to where it's not a lights out match. We've done that before. It's not an empty arena match. We've done that before. It's a pitch black match. How can we sell this to sponsors? It's like with the zombie match that they had with the Miz and Morrison and everything. I think it'll tiptoe close to that line, but I think it'll be very much more of a cinematic match than anything.
Yeah, and I don't want every Bray Wyatt match to be a cinematic match. I want some of what Bray Wyatt gives us to be about wrestling. Like, that was what was amazing about The Undertaker, is that his storyline always involved the wrestling. It was always about getting to the ring for something. And that's what I want with this. It wasn't always, it might have been a stipulation match. It might have been an Inferno match or a Buried Alive match or whatever. But that's how The Undertaker worked it. I'm spooky. I do crazy shit. But this is all leading to a wrestling ring. And you're going to watch me in the ring. Not you're going to watch the fucking Titantron, even though you paid $200 a seat to sit in this building.
And see, I'll give you this, and I'll say this real quick here because I do like this. Very much Vince Russo booking here of Mountain Dew pitch black on a pole match. But speaking of how, like you mentioned that with the Undertaker, you look at the Undertaker, you had the Inferno match, you had the Buried Alive, the casket match, the Hell in a Cell match. You think of Bray Wyatt, you think of Bray Wyatt, you think of the Firefly Funhouse match. What? The House of Horrors match. What? The Swamp and the fucking Gaff match there. What? Of him and Braun fighting in a fucking swamp. You just think of all these outlandish, super cinematic of literally would never work with inside of a professional wrestling ring type of deal.
Yeah.
When Taker's always still came back to it, was founded in some form of reality.
Yeah. And that's it. And like Chris agrees with, ended in the ring. You got these big matches.
Undertaker Boneyard match was better than a fucking any match Wyatt's had outside of maybe the Firefly. And that's just because it was a spectacle.
Yeah. And that's my challenge to Bray Wyatt. You got a match against LA Knight. LA Knight's a pro. LA Knight's a vet. I want to see a fucking match. Like, I get it, this pitch black thing. So let's move past that. But my challenge as a Bray Wyatt mark, and everybody saw me for a year, mark out. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. No, he didn't come.
He's coming with Edge. No,
right?
He's not.
No, he's not. He's going to be at Survivor. No, shit. All right. And everybody watched me be a mark for Bray Wyatt for a while. But my challenge is a Bray Wyatt mark. Butters! Sorry. My challenge for a Bray Wyatt mark, as a Bray Wyatt mark, is Bray, I challenge you to get in the ring and have outstanding matches. I want at the end of 2023, people are talking about, do you remember that Wyatt match? Do you remember this Wyatt match? Because you delivered in the ring outside of the spectacle that you are.
I'm going to say this real quick, and this is a complete side tangent before I even joke about a comment there, but I think we're going to see a defining match in 2023, except it's going to be the different promotion with a different wrestler, and it's I'm better than you, and you know it. Of him having a 1 hour Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. That's going to be that moment.
That is a complete fucking dog leg, by the way.
Exactly, 100%. I admit it, but that's going to be where MJF shows like what you're talking about with Bray, that's going to be where MJF shows I'm not just good on the mic, I'm not just a character, I can fucking go.
And that's one of the knocks on MJF. We see him wrestle 4 times a year, 5 times a year, and he works it the way he works everything else. Well, I'm too good to wrestle all the time. And
at this point with Bray, we wrestle no times a year.
Yeah, get in the fucking ring. That's what I want, wrestling. And that's what all our favorite wrestlers were, wrestlers.
That's the thing is, and that's still the problem when you do the supernatural, and that's what made it work with Undertaker, with Kane, what have you, and it's where at times where they lose the plot with Bray. It goes horror movie versus professional wrestling. It has to be grounded too. So then why the fuck are you in a wrestling company then?
Yeah, it's starting to feel like
why are we having a match?
Yeah, it starts feeling like a very like fucking homemade horror movie at times, and I love
the Bray Witch Project.
The Bray Witch Project. You heard that shit here first. Put that on t-shirts. The Bray Witch Project. I'll take it.
Shut up and take my money.
Right. All right, let's head towards the door. So we got a couple more to get through, and we'll make these ones a little quicker.
Rapido. Oh, God. You're going to try and make these Rapido?
I don't know how these ones are going to be quicker, but here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The quickest I can do this is he's going to be in the match, but him and Bobby get into it, and one of them tosses out the other, and we set up for them versus Brock versus Bobby at Mania. That's the quickest I can do that.
I'm pretty sure if Brock Lesnar wins this Royal Rumble in a similar fashion to the way he did last year, I shut down the channel, I quit doing wrestling, and I move on. And
no, Brock Lesnar is the Kazuchika Okada of WWE. Of just shut up, Brock wins. Shut up, Okada wins.
Oh, that's it, right? It's like, oh shit, we're in trouble. Call Brock.
Exactly.
They found my NDAs. Come on about.
Right. Who's the legitimate person we could have win this? Okay, Brock. Okay, Okada. Yeah, it's 100% the same thing.
I think if Brock isn't winning, he might not be in it, though. That's the other side of my coin.
I still think we set up Brock versus Bobby at Mania. Well, we saw at Raw, we saw Hurt Business chatting with Adam Pearce and everything. You had MVP and Cedric and everything. So we could still be leading to that, but we could still get face Cowboy Brock versus heel Hurt Business Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ends the trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steve, I do agree with that. I feel like they didn't get a fair shake, but we'll get back to that after. Yeah, listen, the only thing about Brock is he's a beast. If you're gonna put bring him out and you have a good reason to stop him, man, I'm so sick and tired of watching Royal Rumbles where Brock's the only person in the fucking ring. Like I'm a big fan of give me a good melee. But Brock continually coming out and just fucking clearing house bothers me.
So you didn't like the 2020 Rumble?
I loved how they did that.
Right.
Exclusively.
That's the thing is you can only do I was going to say
you can only do that one.
I think of Brock just being the only one out there, but that was lightning in a bottle. You couldn't do that now at all.
But again, you see it with some other guys as well, like especially the bigger guys. Like you'll have like 6 or 7 guys in the ring and they'll come in and chuck 5 of them and you're like, fuck.
Right. Small Mark, yes, they did in a triple threat at one of the Royal Rumbles with Kane involved, and that's where we got the infamous receipt of Braun hit Brock a little too high with a knee there, and so Brock said, "Fuck you is," and then just cold cocked him.
That was a Rumble, right?
Yeah, it was a match.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of my favorite clips. Is just it shows you the absolute force and power of a Brock Lesnar.
Oh, it's very much of it goes back to the Paul Heyman comment of shoot or work. Whatever Brock Lesnar wants to have happen will happen.
Right. And I mean, you're looking at a guy who competed in the strongman comps. The guy was going around lifting fucking buses and dragging big boulders around to prove how strong he was. And here he is. He pops the fucking Brock with a little too stiff.
One high knee. And just, you can eat this right hand. Christ, you had Randy Couture, a UFC Hall of Famer, get folded like a fucking lawn chair because of Brock Lesnar. You had Heath Herring just get ran over like a fucking bus hit him from Brock Lesnar. You had Frank Mir get destroyed. Alistair Overeem. The list goes on and on. Brock Lesnar, I've said this before, he is the alpha male of our species. Exactly. If the aliens come down and say, send out your best fighter, everyone's turning and looking at Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, he is a different animal. I don't think if I'm sitting here right now, I don't know if he's in the Rumble. And if he shows up at the Rumble, I get a real nervous pit in my stomach of like, please don't win. Please.
But that's why they do that. Because then that makes you get on your fucking toes. And then say when Bobby comes and clotheslines him out, and then we set up to that match at Mania, then, okay, now I can breathe. And then you give it maybe 2-3 people, and then the next big, huge surprise comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Brock Lesnar in the 30 spot is a fucking bad moment for everybody.
Oh, no.
Dear Papa Paul, if you have any sense in the world, number 30 does not win this Rumble. So you fucking sit down and look at your paper. Number 30 cannot win this year's Rumble.
Well, that's interesting. As you
Cody's
say that,
29.
I feel like there's somebody.
Cody's 29.
Waiting on this list as we've got 30 people watching it.
I don't want it to happen. We'll get there.
Who could be number 30?
All right, we'll get to this one first, and then we'll talk about number 30 potentially.
Right.
But this one's kind of a big one. It's been on the docket, similar to his friend who also lost a big match on Wednesday. And we all know how Nick feels about the guy. So
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
If he shows up, he wins the Rumble, and he's the one to take the title off Reigns.
Jesus.
Show me the fault there. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I could see him showing up. I could see him again being one of the guys that get close.
They wanted this man. They offered this man a contract before he even signed with New Japan. All of that, like they offered this man a contract early. I've seen the clips from inside the ropes there, to where you have Paul Heyman literally hand in fist of offering this man a WWE contract. 100% of this guy has been the blue chip prospect to end all blue chip prospects outside of, an Anawahi or somebody that's Samoan. No offenses included. But 100% of, if he leaves New Japan, which that would be the most interesting thing in this whole thing of, I still think we could be setting up a Ospreay Omega versus like we did with Okada Omega. So that would be the bigger move, I feel, than even where he falls, whether he wins, he loses. Of the fact that he made that jump is the bigger story.
Yep. Yeah, it would be a huge story because this is a guy who he's been on the record that he had no interest in WWE in the past for obvious reasons. He's kind of he's self-made in the sense of where he talked about the hard times of traveling and getting around and digging in and building that name for himself. I do feel like he might be heading for a showdown with Kenny Omega, which, just on a side note, I gave Kenny Omega all the marks in the world, and I beg him to get away from the Young Bucks. Please, Kenny.
I told you, New Japan Kenny is entirely different than AEW Kenny.
Dear Kenny Omega.
Why everybody that likes Kenny now is because of New Japan Kenny.
Yeah, dear Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks are hurting your fucking career. Literally like a fucking lead weight in your pocket. They are dragging you down. Run.
Stay in good. Just take New Japan. Why don't we take New Japan and push it over here?
That's what we need. We need the next Forbidden Door be in Japan, not in, we did one in America. Let's go over there, Tony.
Oh,
do it in the Tokyo Dome.
Christ, that'll be a whole nother, our next Rumble special, whatever. We booked the next Forbidden Door.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Trust me,
right?
After watching Wrestle Kingdom 17, and I'm night 1, by the way, I'm so excited for night 2, and that's where we might get Jay White saying, thank you, good night, and goodbye from New Japan. But anyways, with Will Ospreay, if he comes over to WWE, if he's in the Royal Rumble, it's going to be really interesting to see the reaction, because I know the AEW audience is going to know that just because of the connection to New Japan. How many casual WWE fans know Will Ospreay?
This is where Will's not like a 29 or 30 entrant. Like, he might be like a 20 entrant, 18,
17.
And you get that kind of, oh, wait a minute. And then other people around you are like freaking out, and you're like, I guess I should cheer too.
And then he hits a couple good, huge spots. He hits an ox cutter. If you get that moment, shut up and take my money. If you get a moment between Ricochet and Ospreay in the Rumble.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be crazy. I think, and the people who are in the know would get a bit of a pop, and then if they can show it off of why they're getting the pop. Somebody earlier mentioned Kruger. Same thing. I mean, Kruger would be cool. Is he really a Rumble type?
Oh, Max Kruger is way.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not even saying comparable. I just mean where Kruger comes out and there will be a large collective of people being like,
who the fuck is that guy?
Even Jay White might take some more people to. All right.
Oh, that's a valid point. That's why I say if you can use it, use the Bullet Club music.
Yeah.
And I think that gets.
Well, you get you'll get the average mark cheering just for the Bullet Club. They don't know what the fuck. But yeah, I mean, this comment here, what about the Empire versus the Bloodline?
Shut up and take my money.
Sounds very nice.
I will be here for anything and everything, and that's the quietest you'll ever hear me. Or just yes. Just all yes.
I see Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. No, I do not.
No.
If Vince regains control and has booking power, maybe. But these reports, the Young Bucks aren't close to a contract with Fuck off. They're
Tony, pay me more money.
They don't need to be close to a contract. They're taken care of. They're made.
You work for the fucking company. You're part owner of the fucking company. Like,
They're fine.
right?
With Osprey, yeah, I like that idea.
Jeff Cobb's the inside man. He turns.
Yeah. Oh shit. Right.
I could book it. Give me a fucking. Give me the booker's pencil.
Give me a pencil. Let's go.
Right.
Will Ospreay is a 5 and Ricochet 6.
I think he's talking about order, maybe.
No, I thought he was talking about looks. I was like, that doesn't.
Do you, boo boo? Do you,
right?
boo-boo?
I don't know. No, I mean, listen, we all know about Ospreay and Ricochet, but to be honest, my favorite Ospreay parts aren't the big high flying stuff. He can do them; they're great, but he's a hell of a wrestler within those big moves.
That's the thing. Is
Ricochet.
Well, it's like what we've even recently started to see with Ricochet of telling a story within the high spots. It's the one thing guys like the Bucks and everything lack is they'll do fantastic spots, but there's no fucking build up to them. There's no story. There's no psychology, anything throughout that. You get that with Ospreay. You get that with Ricochet. Christ, Ospreay and Ricochet had a whole match to where the top rope had completely snapped off and everything. So there was no high flying. It was nothing about ring psychology from the two high flyers of our generation.
Oh no, and Will Ospreay's more than just a high flyer. He was a high flyer, but he figured it all out. His look, I mean, as he matured into manhood. But no, you watched him progress and you watched him find his stride, his swag, his attitude. And
you do what, bruv? You do what, bruv?
Right? He's one of the best in the world. He is the Conor McGregor of pro wrestling. Mostly because he uses the C word.
That guy.
Yeah, he uses the C word. Don't you dare. Bullet Club versus the Bloodline.
Oh, God. Well, no.
Right? Now we're getting greedy. But
I was going to say, then do you incorporate the OC? Do you incorporate, Bad
I would like to see.
Like, that's the thing is then you're getting Chris Bay and you're getting Ace Austin. You're getting multiple. That's a forbidden door right there.
Somebody accused us of trying to pillage Impact. If you start taking out the young guns like that, now we're pillaging.
Oh, yeah.
But I almost felt like now AJ broke his ankle. I don't know if that had any impact on this, but you do have that opportunity to bring in Jay White with a couple buddies, and they're looking at the OC going, what the fuck is the OC?
No, you just have him take over the OC.
Yeah, now you can hijack it. He's not there.
And you lead to a AJ versus Jay White.
Well, that's what it is, right? So now
shut up and take my money.
Yeah, like if you're booking this properly, Jay's in the Rumble. For whatever reason, he doesn't win. Who gives a fuck? But he just works in and it starts turning the Good Brothers and whoever else into a Healy vibe. And then, AJ comes back, the, clean cut fucking minivan driver.
Oh, you said clean cut, so he comes back Impact AJ style. I am.
But guys, see Jake Paul sign PFL contract to go MMA.
Yeah, because he's gonna face Nate. And gonna get his ass whooped. You can stay here and get your ass whooped. You can stay here and get your ass whooped.
It's gonna be interesting because Nate is one of the most impossible human beings I've ever seen in my life. And
I love the Diaz brothers.
Oh my God. And even when you think like, oh man, he's gonna he just takes shots and like, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. And you're like, fuck.
Who else besides Nick Diaz is gonna sit there and lay down like paint me like one of your French girls facing Anderson Silva?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Osprey reminds me of Sean O'Hare could have been.
Oh, don't do that. Especially because I'm a huge Sean O'Hare fan.
Okay.
He's my favorite of very much what could have been. Like he's the guy everybody had that where you're on a fucking trampoline and you're trying to imitate, you're doing your little backyard wrestling and everything. Sean O'Hare is a guy that I really looked at because he's a huge guy who could do wonton bombs and shit like that.
Yeah.
To compare Sean and Osprey, no. Osprey's a different animal. Osprey's a different caliber. That's comparing a fucking a cheetah to a house cat a little bit.
Oh wow. Okay. Fair enough. And I mean, again, I see where it's apples and oranges on that one for sure. Um, yeah, I don't tie them two as close together.
I wouldn't
But
even.
I mean, Osprey's a great shout. As far as possibly being in this, there is opportunity there, and people assume. Now, I don't. I feel that, and I'll ask you the same thing, Nick. Jay White to me is more likely than Osprey.
Yes,
Okay.
100%. I would agree with that.
All right, then, folks. The gentleman that could, and I don't know how I feel about it, could be number 30 in the Rumble.
If you smell.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Burn. Now, this has been highly debated and contested on this channel. Do we believe that The Rock and Roman are going to face at Mania? Yes.
Yes.
Do I think he has to go through the Rumble to do it?
No.
Fuck no. What are we thinking? No, there's no way. It doesn't. It's not necessary, and you kill your fucking Rumble again. Stop killing Rumbles. I like Rumbles.
I'll caveat this whole statement with I feel like we get the return of The Rock at Rumble, just not in the Rumble.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. But it all depends on what Roman has slated for the Rumble. Rumor is it's KO.
I did it for The Rock. I did it.
So here's the question. If he's got KO at Rumble, what does he like? I mean, we get to Elimination Chamber. The Rock's involved. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's tough.
You think? Wait,
like what happens to like what you have going on with Sammy? This like Sammy's obviously not. Is going to have to take a back seat. Does the bloodline continue to be entertaining and relevant all the way through March, April? It's a tough spot, Nick.
So, what I could see happening. Rock returns at Rumble, and it irritates the shit out of Roman. He's already getting irritated because Sammy's getting more of a reaction, more of a chance than he is and everything like that. We get that rip your heart out moment with Sammy out of the bloodline and everything. Because I could see, honestly, out of everybody that we've even mentioned, my sleeper pick to win the Rumble is Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I like Sami Zayn as a pick. I think it would be a fucking excellent decision.
I still think we could get to where he leaves WrestleMania 39. And I know some people saying, oh, wait till 40. No, this is in Hollywood. So why not do The Rock and everything? But to where you could see Sami Zayn leave WrestleMania as a champion. Maybe not the champion, but a champion. And you get still that setup for Rock versus Roman. Granted, I think Roman goes over in that match. I don't think Dwayne takes a W in really any of this.
No.
He's there. That's it.
Right.
You get to show up, say your catchphrases, promote the XFL, promote your movies, all of that. But you're going to eat this L to Roman. You're going to not be involved in the Rumble.
No rock, no pebble.
No rock, no pebble, no sand.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people were like, well, The Rock, they put him in the Rumble, and then he wins the Rumble. I'm like, why the fuck would we do that? And
he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to win the Rumble to challenge for a title.
No.
It's The Rock.
The tricky part of the whole thing, there you go. The tricky part of the whole thing, Nick, is catering to the Rumble winner and still pulling off that match. That's going to be the tricky part. Splitting the belts or finding some reason for Roman. I can't imagine Roman losing the belt on the way to WrestleMania at this point. Makes no fucking sense. So I wouldn't take the belts off him. Take one off him, maybe.
I still think you could get to where you have, whether it be, say, Cody versus Roman night 1.
No.
And then, say, Cody versus or Roman versus Rock night 2. Or so what if you get Cody or Roman versus, why do I keep saying Cody? God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
You get Roman versus Rock night 1. And what if night 2 you get Roman versus Sammy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, but that's the thing is that's what makes this the best situation, because as somebody who's been a professional wrestling fan for 30 plus years, I know you're pretty much right in that same boat of this is the most that we've been completely undecided, unpredictable. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You can't etch anything into chalk when it comes to the Rumble, when it comes to Mania, anything.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And folks, as that was our last, Rock is our last on the list. We are winding down and about to head towards the door sooner than later. But let us know in the chat. Just throw out who you think, as if we sit here today, just throw out who you think might win the Rumble. I see some Cody's already down there. Now, here's the way I see it. If Sammy was to win the Royal Rumble, you now head into a pay-per-view that's in Montreal. And Sammy is the Rumble winner. That is insane. That will be insane. Like, I couldn't imagine the energy that will be in Montreal for that. So that's positive. Now, you also have, if it's KO and Roman, maybe it is a case of Roman beats KO whatever way, by hook or by crook, but they continue to lay it into KO and lay it into KO. And finally, Sammy says, that's enough. Right? I've had that's
you have that, you know, he stands up for his friend and then he gets, you know, smithed down and everything.
Right.
I can see that happening.
And then you set up a really cool elimination chamber in Montreal, and how that trend, like, so maybe I don't know what we do, but
is the elimination chamber in Montreal to decide who faces, say, Roman on night. Oh shit! I was just saying the face who faces Roman on night one, or who faces Roman at Money in the Bank or something, and you get down to the elimination chamber in Montreal.
Cut the shit.
Kevin Owens and you get Sami Zayn, and they just sit there and do the hockey fight in the center of the ring in Montreal in an elimination chamber.
That's interesting take too, right? I mean, it's not a bad shout. Yeah, I mean, that again, I like the possibilities. I like the angles. And again, a huge moment, two local boys duking it out. What if they're on the same team against, say, the Bloodline, because they're buying time to Mania at this point now, right? Like, all right, you're not in the elimination chamber. You guys are going to have a tag match with the tag champions, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that's again what makes this so great, is there's so many different possibilities. And I guess this will be my last question for the night and everything. So your men's Rumble, you don't have to pick a winner right now, of your men's Rumble Final Four.
Oh, Cody Rhodes. I so want to say CM Punk. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I already have a four.
Realistically, Cody Rhodes. I don't even think he'll be in the top there. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, Jesus, you took some outliers there that I thought. So I'll just say, just ultimate fan marking out booking of, and if I had the pieces, I could make it work, of Cody Rhodes, Jay White, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, and that's where I hesitated, because I actually think I could switch out and put Aldis in that mix as well, right? Like,
100%. He's number 5.
Yeah, I think
he's the fifth man instead of the sixth man, like in basketball. He's the fifth man.
And then one name that might be considered in that, and I would have normally said Seth. I did have Seth early on. It's still early, but the knee. I got to find out more about the knee. I still think it was kayfabe, but we'll find out. I hope it was kayfabe.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Damien says it's going to be in London, yes, and we'll be watching it.
Calling.
Right. Rhodes, KO, Sammy, Solo. KO could be there, but
that's
I think
an interesting shout out of KO being involved.
Right? Maybe Sammy throws KO out. I don't fucking know. Could you imagine?
Sammy throws KO out to win.
Well, and it's generally, I mean, up in the history of KO and Sammy has always been the fact of, like, KO's the guy that fucks Sammy over generally.
Pause.
So this nice change in pace might work well.
But that's one of the best tale as old as time. Like, that's one of those of Just whether you're a WWE fan, an AEW fan, a fucking PWG fan, a Ring of Honor fan, if you know about the feud between Kevin Steen and El Generico.
Yeah. History, folks. Gato, welcome to the channel. Oh, hope you're doing well. Kayfabe injury. Give him 30 days to defend one of the belts, and if not,
you do draft and you split it.
Yeah, but they're not going to do a draft pre-Mania, so that becomes the dilemma with all this.
Maybe
Ooh, it'd be fucking interesting. It would really throw a wrench into everybody's.
We don't know we don't know if Vince is going to show up tomorrow and just walk in there and kick his fucking feet up. So
on a Friday night, Vince just walks in and goes, "I'm back." You're like, "Fuck."
Well, I think you put out there before if he just comes out to back in black,
right? We want Vince. Got the shit.
Please.
Rhea, Bailey, Becky, Alexa. I'm pretty close. I think. Yeah.
Close.
I like. I'd like an RKO return. He was on the list. Juice. We definitely feel like it would be nice to get him back. Now it will all. He's another one. Is his back as bad as they reported, or does he surprise us?
But even then, still give me a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton feud.
Right.
And that still is, again, shut up and take my money.
Yeah. And again, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's what we're starting to look at. Like, give us really good matches. And there's a lot of names that could go well together. I don't think all this is coming to WWE. I don't think his name is big enough for a huge pop. That's where I don't think.
Ask Hunter.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily going to win the Rumble or be late in the Rumble. He might not even be in the Rumble. He might just show up on a Raw, and it will all depend on. You'll have to explain to everybody why he's there and who he is. But you give all this time, he'll get himself over. I mean,
I think by the time we get to London, Nick Aldis will be in WWE, and I could see him being at least in, if not winning, the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Interesting. I like it. And he's a talented guy. So, yes, I mean, that's the thing, even with Will Ospreay and Jay White. But you can't always go with the, oh, my God. Like, we're going to get Edge is going to be in the fucking Rumble. I should have put him on the fucking list. You're going to get.
No, he might be facing Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell.
That's random and weird. We got to get to that if they're going to get to that.
Right. Yeah, you need to pick up the pace with that. But that you're telling me, though, if you say you have Cody say wins the Rumble, you have Rock show up at Rumble, and you have Nick Aldis turn around and win Money in the Bank, and you have those three people breathing down Roman's neck,
yeah,
that's not a fucking draw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
you have multiple options of any way you want to go is a good option.
Yeah, really, and that's where it gets really pretty when you start building up depth. It really helps. You guys keep overlooking Rikishi. You know what? Rikishi comes out and gets double super kicked by his own kids, and when he looks up at them and says, "Why?" Right? I did it for The Rock, Dad.
No, and then when Dwayne comes out, he's like, I did it for The Rock. I did.
Yeah, that's what it is. Rikishi comes out and screws over. We'll go the other way. And then when Roman's like, why? He's like, I did it for The Rock.
No, he's the one that screws Dwayne out of winning.
Well, probably.
Right.
Rhea, Becky, Bailey, and Evans.
Oh, hell no on that last one.
Technically,
Lacey Evans will be lucky to be in that match, let alone win it.
She'll be in it.
War.
She'll be in it. I'm gonna give I'm gonna see what they can do with this, but she got a very short leash. Reigns' loss has been indefinite. They've built him up and
to be definitive. They've built him up too much to use him to put someone over.
Yeah,
fair enough. But I think whoever beats him, you get the biggest reaction to it. It's you.
That's why it's Cody Rhodes. Yeah, that's why I think it's Cody. Everybody
it's got to be like a fucking 60-minute match then. Like somebody's getting color in that match. We're getting false finishes. That's the day Roman loses those titles, or at least the Universal
gotta be
title, the one he's held for 800 plus days of, that's going to be a war. That's going to be a Meltzer 7.5-star match.
Yeah, I think it has to be, and I mean, I'd be disappointed if it wasn't, but that's why I think Cody Rhodes plays so well into this, because they've got him hyped, and not many stars are getting those promo packages when they're injured and out, right? So Cody's got a shot. All right, we could be here all night, as we've proven before.
Yeah, all right.
Sammy Cody theory. Oh, theory. Ooh. Trish Stratus is a good shout. She could have been on this list. She should have been on this list. I love
That's
Trish.
just because she's Canadian.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think she's awesome. Here's one. What if Roman wins the Rumble? No, not happening, JB. You're not going anywhere near it, and he doesn't want to be in it.
No.
Lit Match Wrestling says Roman will lose eventually, and most likely it won't be a clean victory over him. It'll be Roman getting a taste of his own medicine. Highly possible, absolutely. But to Nick's point, I really think it should be definitive, right? Like, it should be like, holy shit, he finally got toppled. Now, if it is a case of a Nick Aldis shows up and helps Cody, or somebody turns on Roman like a Sammy, it's all there. He's going to eat his poison, but we need a good match with it, and we'll get one.
If you're going to do that, then it's got to be a double turn.
Yeah,
that's the only way that you do that, is because you can't have, say, Cody as a babyface of he screws Roman out of the titles. And that's the thing, is Roman hasn't taken a pinfall loss in 3 years. If he takes a pinfall loss, then it has to be definitive. And if you're going to do it to where, Roman gets screwed or whatever, then it has to be that weird double phase or double turn to where Roman then becomes the baby face in that situation of, somehow, did you see he got screwed? Even the guy that's had all the advantages, all the privileges, he got screwed.
Right.
And then you've got to have that. Now, I could see that if you do, like we talked about a bit earlier, if you do Cody, Aldis, FTR, if FTR shows up in WWE as well, you have them be the Four Horsemen, and they become the heel faction of WWE, and you have Cody just run roughshod.
No. Did you say Cody is a heel?
That's the only way you're having Reigns lose under shaky circumstances is a double turn. You can't have a babyface screw Roman to win the title.
Because like our buddy here, Lit, said, it becomes a taste of his own medicine, where people are like, yeah, fuck the bad guy.
Pause.
Cody's not going anywhere near being a heel. He ended up in WWE because he didn't want to be a heel in AEW.
No, he ended up in WWE because he didn't want to deal with bullshit.
Well, and it tied into that.
Allegedly.
I think his friends thought if the fans started booing him, he would turn heel, and he said, fuck y'all, I'm leaving. Rhea winning unless the women cost her. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Becky, though.
Well, that's not a bad shout, though, too, of mentioning Beth. That's, not a bad shout.
Beth and Edge got omitted because it won't be a surprise. Fuck them. Sick of them leaving and coming back.
Right.
Mostly husband. Judgment Day interfere for Roman to lose the belts. Now we're just going to be here for fucking till Tuesday.
Right.
Guys, great Muta in the Rumble. I should have had this on the list. Just because of speculation. We just saw Shinsuke. People thought they might give Muta a spot. I don't know if the WWE is that inclined, just because they're not AEW.
I could see it, but that's the thing, is then it becomes, how much of a spot do you give a legend like that of? Do you really want to see the Great Muta come out at number 5 and eliminated at number 10? Like,
yeah. And
that's the thing, is you're not going to have Muta come out, early on and make it till the final 10, the final 15, even probably. So where do you draw that line of you're paying homage, you're paying respect, versus you're doing a disservice because you had him come out and then just quickly tossed out?
Yeah, again, and then we've seen it before with some of like the veterans, right? where you're like, oh great, they're here and yay, and then they're gone. You're like, well, that was stupid.
Right.
So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know, but I mean, at some point they're putting it to bed, right? They're over. Maybe the last comment of the night. Do you think? With how great Sting is doing in AEW, he can return? No. How great he? Nick, this is a tough one. Is he doing that great?
That's a whole bunch of debatables in that whole statement there of great, debatable. Return to WWE, debatable. We already saw how it went before when he was in WWE, and it just became of Hunter saying, I need to show that DX was better than the NWO or anything WCW ever did. If that's the thing, is anybody that goes to WWE that was a stalwart of WCW
is going under.
Is going, you're right. It's one of those of you're already going in with a handicap, I feel.
And again, it's not like we're getting Sting. Like, it's not like the WWE is going to bring Sting in and put him in like a one-on-one match with fucking Cody or Seth. Like, you got to remember, as great as Sting has been, he's been, playing chaperone most of the time. And then once in a while, he jumps off something like a crazy old man. It's fucking nuts.
Right. Yeah. I think we're better off seeing, and I think it's going to be at this point in his career, it's going to be better storytelling of any sort of situation between Darby and Sting than him just randomly jumping ship and all of a sudden we get what fucking Mojo, or we get Madcap Moss versus Sting on a WrestleMania pre-show. Like, fuck out of here with that. Like, no, I'd rather see Darby and Sting build to a storyline than Sting made the random jump.
I agree. And honestly, I would love to just see Darby turn around, grab Sting, and fucking pancake him and get all the fucking heat in the world. And
real shit.
Yeah. Stop stealing my spotlight, Grandpa. Fuck.
No, he surprises him. He has a Darby mask. And then he takes it off, and it's just Darby underneath it with the paint.
Hits him with a chair. Fucking A. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we lied. Triple H, Booker T'd Sting at Mania. Okay.
Triple H, Booker T, or Golden Covered a lot of people of that man. Christ, that man's more the Undertaker than the Undertaker.
Right. Remember, people say Austin Theory should have a faction. How about him and Nick Cardona? Oh, okay. Again, the problem with a guy like Theory getting into a faction is you outshadow him. He's got to stand alone and stand out.
Aldis and Cardona outshine Theory in that faction that you even proposed right there.
That guy. How do you not love Sting, though, realistically? But nonetheless, dude, out of this list tonight, who is most likely to come back? And you can't say Cody because we know we're already
who's not on the roster currently. That's most likely to show up in the Rumble.
Yeah, and two, who would be your biggest pop out of the bunch?
Most likely to show up, Nick Aldis.
Okay.
Biggest pop would probably be Jay White. I would say Ospreay, but I feel like that's less likely than Jay White. I think if Jay White shows up, that's my biggest pop, my biggest react. Well, shit, god damn it! And now I see the next comment of CM Punk. Either one of those two would be my biggest reaction.
Yeah, the Punk's are going to be my answer to the excitement one. Like, you're going to watch KJ come unglued just because I think it would be just so much fun to sit on this channel and just be like, it would be such an epic moment. I watched his return live on a stream. I feel like I've just lived all my wrestling moments forever on YouTube. But yeah, like, I mean, it was such a crazy moment. Like, you legit got people fucking like emotional and shit. Him returning at Rumble because of what it means in the industry and all the shit that's happened in 2022. I think it would just blow my mind and I would lose it. Most likely to me is Matt Cardona.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say that's not a bad shout for at least a third. Like, if I'm doing top 3 of like reactions, if I just all of a sudden hear woo 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 woo,
I'd be so fucking shocked because we're like, wait, is it like,
who? What? Did I just hear that?
You can't come back.
Do you hear what I hear?
They gotta let him come back as Matt Cardona. They gotta let him
I'm a peacock, and you gotta let me fly.
There's an exception. There's exceptions to the rules. It's like bringing Punk in and being like, all right, you're going to be Phil. Like,
You're Phil Brooks now.
Not the same level, but you get where I'm going.
Right.
All right. Shout out to CEEJAY. All right, folks. All right, folks. It feels like this lovely episode of the Rumble is wearing out. And you know what, Nick? I know we were talking a lot because we didn't do any shout outs. We didn't do any call outs. So I will take a moment to remind everybody. We will be here live for the Rumble. We have more Rumble coverage coming. We're going to do a prediction show and all that fun stuff. But we greatly appreciate all of you out there for tuning in tomorrow night. Triple header. All 4 hours live, and they all will be. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. All 4 hours will be live.
Four.
We got 4 hours.
4 on a Friday. Run them to the 4 because I need to know.
Right, we get 2 hours for SmackDown. We get 1 hour for one.
You muted yourself mid promo.
We get a bonus hour for. I love hitting that. We get a bonus hour for Battle of the Belts, all live. 4 hours live. We'll be live. The wrestling will be live. Should be a fun night. As always, Fridays are crazy here on the stream. And then again, folks, if you don't know, we are the Wrasslin for Life Network, and we do this for all the goddamn shows. We don't stop. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Dan. But yes,
Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
AEW needs more Dalton Castle. We're not going to get into that.
No, they don't.
Appreciate it, Smile Mark. And with all that being said, yeah, Nick, how you feeling?
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you better put that for life with it. And folks, you are absolutely winning the game of life 100%.
We will see everybody on the flip side. Triple header Friday tomorrow. Do not miss out. Have a good night. Thank you so much. And again, see you on the flip side. Bye.